You are listening to NUFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army. Live daily on the website, on YouTube, on the AB, and on every online radio directory. NUFC Talk, the voice of the Toon Army.
Hello. Apologies, everyone. We're a little bit late. I was too busy getting bullied in the room beforehand for the trims. But good evening and welcome back to welcome back to NUFC Talk TV. And that evil laugh from Christina lets you know that's very true. It's the first section of our two-part show from 9:30 onwards. Chris and the team will be talking about the latest news, as you've seen in the thumbnail and the title. But right here, right now, we're going to be fully digesting Newcastle United's draw against Nottingham Forest yesterday, and to help me do exactly that, I've got Win, Christina and Peter here with me today. Christina, despite the bad blood in the early moments, I'll start with you. How are you doing?
Can I just apologise and say that I think your hair looks lovely? I am impressed. Just it's random, isn't it? You've got to. In the football fan community, it is a rule that if someone gets a haircut, you've got to make fun of it. And I'm sure next time I get a haircut, I'm going to get called Karen by about 50 people in chat because it'll be a little bit shorter of the fun than it used to be. But yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for asking. Did you ask me about the game there as well, or were you just doing the intro?
No, just starting off with how you're doing.
All right, no, fantastic. Thank you. I just had a little nap before the show started, so full of beans.
Lovely bit of R&R. What about you, Peter? Bit of R&R before the show?
R&R?
Rest and recovery.
Okay. I'm all set to go. I'm all good. Yeah, no
good.
rest was needed.
Always on the boil. What about you, Win? All good?
Rest and recovery. I always thought R&R was recreation. Rest and recreation.
Just to throw another one into the hat, I always thought it was rest and relaxation. So
well, there you go then.
We've got a different version of it.
Well, I'm good because for the first time, as long as I can remember, really, certainly as long as, shall we say, streaming has been available for live matches. Mm-hmm. Newcastle played on Sunday, and I didn't watch it all live. I was at a function that I'd agreed to go to when the match was originally scheduled for a Saturday. So I was at a lovely function at Crewe Golf Club in Cheshire on the top table, and I had my phone out surreptitiously watching what was going on, whilst all the time trying to appear very interested in the ceremonies and things. So that's the first live game that I've missed for as long as I can remember. Like I say.
Wow, and didn't even miss it properly. You still got in there.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. So, for those that caught us yesterday, obviously I was involved doing the live comms, so I won't be talking too much about it because I've already done all that. Going to be getting the news and thoughts of the panel with me. Obviously, Newcastle United drew 1-1 with Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, and on paper, I don't personally feel like it's a bad result. Only Liverpool have beaten Nottingham Forest at the City Ground in the league since in 2026. So, a point there. Is it something really you dismiss? But as always with Newcastle this season, it's the context that gets you. Once again, Newcastle take the lead. Once again, Newcastle have chances to kill the game. Once again, Newcastle fail to take them. And once again, Newcastle concede late and drop points. That's the frustration. It's not just the result, it's the pattern. But, Christina, was that a good point away from Forest, all in all, with the context? Or does it still feel like 2 points dropped because of that late goal?
I think anytime that you get a, concede a late goal, it's going to feel like 2 points dropped. I think it is a good point. And I think, if you do look at the context of the teams that they've absolutely blown away recently and the form that they've shown, not fair enough, a couple of days before the game they had a bad showing against Aston Villa, but they've been in really good form in the league, like realistically considering their position. And I think, we played pretty well throughout the game. I can't really pick anything from the performance that was particularly bad, really, except for Nick Pope's random T-pose when he glitched halfway through when he came out to catch a cross. Besides that, there wasn't much that you can really put your finger on and say, okay, this is what we got wrong there. And yeah, I mean, they were persistent. They're a home team that as you mentioned, nobody really beats them at home, and they kept plugging away and they kept persisting and got themselves that goal at the end. And I don't really even think that there was anything much that we could take blame for in their goal either. I mean, it was just a well-worked goal. People were doing their jobs. Nick Pope was at the front post. You're not really going to do much about that shot unless you've got like the reactions of a cat. So yeah, it's a disappointing point because now people are going to say, well, that's 27 points dropped from a lead. But I mean, in context, I think it's a good point that we can be happy with, and the performance as well, I think, should also make people quite happy.
And Stephen's in there saying it was a depleted Forest side as well. He's not 100% wrong. The defence in the midfield, I mean, Letts was the only player that was really changed. Marato, obviously, he's been forced in there due to Murillo's injury. Milenkovic, Cunha, Williams, all featured against Aston Villa. They probably should have been a bit tired. Same with Anderson and Dominguez. It was up top with Awoniyi, Bakwa, where the big changes were made, and to be fair, they tore apart Chelsea a week ago. So personally, I don't think it's as bad as what some people have been pointing out. What do you think, Wayne? Do you think the reaction's been a bit negative, given Forest's home record?
Well, given my glass half full attitude, I think it was a rotten point.
Really?
Especially in the light of same old, taking the lead, not being able to hold on to it, conceding in the last, after 85 minutes, 19 goals now conceded after 85 minutes. Considering we're playing a team that was well depleted and who'd played on Thursday, who couldn't have been in the best of spirits after getting knocked out in the semi-final is the worst result you can get. It's worse than losing the final, because at least you get to the final. Getting knocked out in the semi-final for me is worse than losing the final.
You've done all the hard work, but not made it to the ending you wanted.
You haven't had your day out in the sun, albeit usually a sad day out. But nevertheless, you've had the full build up to all of that, and you miss out on all that if you get beaten in the semi. So the morale, they haven't had a good season. They haven't had a good season at all. And then to rub the salt in the wound, for it to be our old Elliot who gets the equaliser. Oh, that was just written in the stars, wasn't it? For me.
It seemed that way.
But more than that, because I've watched it a couple of times now. As well, I saw a match of the day highlights when I got back on Sunday night, and the highlights don't show you what you see in the 90 minutes, which was yet more continually passing backwards. Mm-hmm. When we win the ball in our defensive third, and it takes just forever to get that ball. Even Lewis Hall on Sunday, who was normally the one bright spark we've got, even he was starting to do the Anthony Gordon stop, turn inside and pass the ball inside instead of what he's built his reputation on. Really, you forgive his defensive deficiencies because of his attacking prowess, and even that seemed to be missing from Lewis Hall on Sunday. He was cutting it. Yes, he was finding an accurate pass, so that's one good thing. But I want to see them going for. I want to see an instruction coming out saying, when you get the ball, pass it forward. And we saw what happened when we did on several occasions. But
we created a lot of chances.
It just wasn't often enough. And so many times, because we haven't got the technical skill to retain the ball, we kept on, we would win the ball in our third, travel to the halfway lane, go to the pendulum and lose the ball. and then we're on the back foot again. Instead of just trying something out of the ordinary, shove a ball forward for somebody to chase. We saw on a couple of occasions. I mean, I thought Wissa was unlucky not to get a penalty. What do you do you know the incident I'm on about?
Where Milenkovic sort of
When he
jumps
was
into him.
literally just taken out, and he shoved his shoulder into Wissa's forehead from behind, and I thought that was a penalty. But nothing was given, because Wissa had got himself into that good position and more or less done everything right, but was just taken out for me. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so I was disappointed. It was the same against Palace. They played on the Thursday, arguably knackered, and still came on strong in the second half.
Yeah, 100%. It was similar to Palace. Nottingham Forest seemed to bring on the big guns towards the end, and they were the better team by the end. Because of that, it was Ismail Assar and Mateta that did the difference for Palace. McAtee, Chris Wood didn't really do too much, but when Luca came on and occupied our two centre backs, you could really see the difference in Forest there. And I completely agree with the passing back, and it's one of the criticisms I had of Voldemort. I'll get to him. I've got a section made up for him for later in the show, but one of the things that sort of annoyed me was when he got forward, he was almost dribbling into trouble, and then it left like he lost a bit of confidence because of that. But Pierre, mate, what were you thinking? Were you more frustrated
Can
by
I just go to Steely there, who's saying you can't expect Hall to whip down the wing and get the ball in when he's playing on the wrong side of the pitch, just to accommodate the donkey burn. Well, I don't know if it was just to accommodate the donkey burn, but it was to accommodate maybe the donkey trip, yeah. But that was a decision he made. But I thought he did reasonably well. He didn't do as well on the right as Livramento tends to do on the left, I thought.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But yeah, you could have a point that was why he was having to cut in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the first game Lewis Hall's played his career there. And I found quite a lot as well. He was moving into midfield, almost inverting quite a lot during the game, which I found really quite interesting. He was very advanced at times. Peter, what do you reckon about the result itself? Were you frustrated by the result, or is it a case of I'm frustrated because I've seen Newcastle do the same thing many, many times this season?
Well, that's it, isn't it? I think on the face of it, you look at a point away from home at the City ground. Yeah, on the face of it, isn't that bad of a result. But it is the same old problems, isn't it? Of not killing teams off, conceding late. I thought Newcastle controlled the game, most of the game. I think they kind of dominated it, really, without kind of having much cutting edge. Like you say, when it's the pendulum, innit? And that was a major issue. So, I mean, I was pleased with how they did take the game to Forest, and Forest did seem to kind of sit back. But yeah, I thought we controlled it and took a deserved lead. So when we went ahead, I thought, we deserve that. We were the only team looking to try and score, really. But the fact that we concede again from 80 plus minutes, it's getting a bit ridiculous, really. And I was pleased to see.
Predict it, can't you?
Well, yeah, exactly. I was sitting there thinking it's going to happen, isn't it? I was hoping it wouldn't, but I wasn't surprised, put it that way, when it did. So. Yeah, I think I was pleased that he at least played. He started Voldemort, and obviously he kept with the 4-4-2. So I was pleased with that. I personally wasn't too chuffed with Lewis Hall at right back. When I seen the lineup, I thought maybe Chow would be right back, or maybe it would be wing backs, which I wouldn't have been too unhappy with neither. But for me, Lewis Hall right back just doesn't work, and I would have played Trippier. So, yeah, I just thought it hampered us going forwards, I mean, we could have had Lewis Hall bombing down the left, whipping in some good balls, linking up with Voldemort. I just think he looked awkward on that right-hand side. So, yeah, I think in the end, really frustrating by the time the final whistle goes. It was a bit deflating, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And just as Geordie agrees with you there, to be fair, it's madness. Plays a left back and right back, plays a right back at centre back and left back, sorry. And when we had a fit right back on the bench, why not play Trips at right back and Hall at left back from the start? And it's sort of, I had another point I wanted to get to first, but I'll move through to that actually. Something Eddie Howe said at the end of the game, when he was asked about Anthony Gordon, that he's looking at the future with the 11 that he's picked. Do you think that was maybe an indication as to why Trippier didn't play as well? I'd like not to think so, but I can't think of any other reason. What do you think, Peter?
I don't understand that really. Like, I think that probably is the reason. You see, the thing is, right, like, what I was hearing was that, and we talked about this, I think, beforehand, that Trippier may well be due a bonus if he plays a certain amount of games. So we were speculating, is that the reason? But the fact that he then came on, I was like, oh, well, hang on a minute, why didn't you just start him? Like, if the whole thing about the bonus situation is true, then he's been on the pitch anyway. So if that was the reason, well, that wasn't the reason, was it? If that was the rumour. So in that case, I was just scratching my head then thinking, well, you've put him on now, would it not have been best to start him and put Lewis Hall left back? So, yeah, I mean, if he's looking to the future and Trippier is not going to be there, we know that. Like, yeah, but you're playing someone out of position in that slot. I'd understand if he's playing Shahar there. It would make sense. And you're looking to the future. You're looking to blood someone who's going to take Trippier's place. Lewis Hall is not going to play right back long term. It's makeshift, isn't it? So, yeah, I just thought, we said on the pre-match show, we were actually quite pleased with the lineup. I was thinking, I like this. Maybe it's wing backs, maybe it's Chow right back isn't ideal, but like I think at least he's right footed. And 4-4-2, he's got two up front again, and I was chuffed with that. But I just don't agree with. I think the Lewis Hall right back looked awkward. I didn't think it worked.
Connor in there as well, and he's our go-to for information. This man, he knows everything. It's brilliant. If I have a question, I've already got it answered in me messages. He's got Trips' bonus is if he starts 2 more games. So if that is the case, then that seems
crazy
mad
to me.
But could they not just pay up? Like, why are they being so
exactly?
It's kind of worth it, isn't it?
If that's the reason, listen, I honestly can't believe that that's the reason. Because
they'll make that money back if we finish a few places higher. So
but not only that, it is worth it. He deserves it.
Yeah, exactly. For what he's done since he came into the club, totally. So if that's the reason, that's bonkers.
Balmy.
Yeah, I was just trying to work out there how many he's played.
I think he's kind of sending his message to the squad, though. Definitely, you're either with us 100%, or you don't play. And I don't think that's a bad message. I'm all for that, me, because you've heard me say a million times. Listen, if you don't want to play on your bike, we'll get as much money as we can for you, and so be it. The only time we do well is when everybody is on board, pulling in the same direction, and all for one for all. And we haven't had that for a while now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of those where it's to be honest, it feels like the club's been divided since, and I hate to bring it back to Isaac, but ever since you were hearing in the summer, there's rumours of frictions in the team because of Alexander Isak situation. You would hear Jamal Lascelles has took the side of Isak. You'd heard Gordon had. You'd heard Botman had. It felt like everything was just trying to pull apart Newcastle in that moment. Christina, what do you think? Do you think Trippier's not playing as Eddie Howe looking at the future, or do you think that was more just aimed at Anthony Gordon?
I think it was probably aimed at both of them, even if there's more to the story of why Trippier wasn't starting, if it was based on bonuses or whatever. You would think Trippier would be worth the bonuses though, after he kind of started the whole revolution of players coming, and he was very instrumental in that first season, and the first half of season, and then the follow-up season. So if he was my player and I was in Eddie Howe's shoes, I would have purposely played him so that he did get the bonus. But you can use it as a pretty good excuse of, okay, well, we'll plan on keeping Lewis Hall. We've needed to fit this team together. We didn't want to play Trippier because he's not going to be here next season, and that's why we've not played Anthony Gordon, and that's fine with Anthony Gordon. I think the channel that I watched the game on, which I can't remember if it was like Sky Sports or if it was one of like TNT Sports, whatever it was, but they had it set up originally as like a 3-5-2, which I thought, all right, wicked, that's perfect, let's do exactly that. And I was pretty happy with the team selection when I first saw it. And then when I saw Hall at right back, I thought, oh, okay, well, we've done it this way. That's okay. That's the worst one of the options that we had when we saw this lineup. But at the same time, I mean, I think it kind of... I mean, I get what people are saying. We didn't have him bombing, but there's a couple of chances. I think if Lewis Hall had just, like, had a couple of shots from where he was, we could have actually seen, like, a masterstroke from Eddie of playing Lewis Hall at right back, because... You know, I mean, how many times do we see players cutting in like Saka or, you know, Ronaldo or, you know, any players these days always like you see them as like forwards, the invert and the shoot with their better foot. And I thought maybe Lewis Hall could have had a couple of chances to do that, but it did take something away from his game. And, you know, I'm not saying that it's definitely not just like for the future, as Eddie said, but that bonus thing is sticking in my mind.
Yeah, and I just took a look there to see how many games Trippier started this season, and it's bang on 30 games, which is an interesting one. 9 in the Champions League he started, 17 in the Premier League, 1 in the League Cup, and 1 in the FA Cup. So that's to be honest, it's a lot more games than I'd thought.
But hang on, how many was that in the Prem? Did you say
17?
So the, well, hang on. That means that the 3 games would have taken him to 20.
Mm-hmm.
2 games would have taken him to 19, which would be 50% of games. So that, you know, that could, but even you know, even if that's the case, I still think it's crazy in terms of, you know, depriving him. I don't suppose he'll be very happy about it. And why would he be, if that's the case? Like I say, I haven't seen anything categoric, and I've had a look and can't say anything categoric on number of games started or Premier games started or whatever. So, and if he's already on 30, you know, there's not going to be a cut-off on 32, is there? You know,
no, exactly.
I can say it being 19, because that would be 50%.
What if he starts more than 30 games? That could be it.
Well, it could. Interesting to see what happens next week.
Yeah, if he starts it's the final home game, isn't it? Against West Ham United at the weekend, and I'm sure Newcastle would want to end with a victory there, and we might see Kieran Trippier start that game in a natural position. We might see players actually start in their natural positions, which would be, to be honest, a little bit of a surprise. Redley was in there saying, bizarrely, the best players were played in their unnatural positions, and I actually thought Lewis Hall was one of the better players on the day as well. I know right at the end, you could argue he should do a little bit better for the Anderson goal. You could argue Bruno should do better for the Anderson goal as well. But a lot happens. Because when we were watching it live, I was sitting there and I was thinking, what's actually gone on here? And there's a lot more to the actual move than what I saw at the time.
I've watched it a dozen times, and there's a multiple complication. Even the big chance they had before it, multiple poor decisions.
Oh, 100%. Before getting to that, I just want to go through some of the chats that have been left, and thank you very much for keeping the chat active. It is much appreciated. Bingley in there saying, I can guarantee the game against West Ham. Burn at left back, Murphy on the right, J7 on the left. Same old. If I was Hall, I would be way off the way he is being treated. To be honest, I can kind of feel the frustration with that, because I looked at when we were doing the reaction after the game, I looked at the lineup and went, players-wise, there's maybe only 3 or 4 that I would want 100% changed for next season. And even then, I wouldn't be mad having Byrne in the squad, but you'd want Hall at left back. You'd probably want Tino back if you can. And then you're looking at the two wingers and one of the front two, because I think depending on how you play, one of them's going to stay and one of them's going to do well. So it tells you it's not far off at all. But seeing Byrne at left back and Murphy at right wing, it's something that before every game is just going to cause a little bit of toxicity. Not that that's what Eddie Howe's caring about. Obviously, he's caring about the result. Gary Simister in there as well, saying Eddie's been under intense pressure in the last few weeks. He could have done without the injuries to Tino and Miley, and on top of that, he's got a disruptive influence in Gordon wanting away. You couldn't write it. It does tend to be what happens when a team that reaches Champions League falls off a little bit. It seems to be like everyone thinks it's the Titanic and they need to get off the ship quickly, but Win, I don't know about you, but I can see us still having a good summer and pushing on, even if a few players leave. What do you think?
Me? Well, you know me. obviously, I can see that happening. This season has been bad. There's no getting away from it. But again, you're talking fine margins. Like I say, if you look at the points we've lost from leading positions and all that, the point is we got into those positions, and as I've said on many occasions, that's the hard thing to do. Taking the lead's the hard thing to do. Defending it should be a lot easier, but we just seem to fall like a pack of cards. We just fall to pieces, and people panic and do all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing we can do is score a goal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you know what's going to happen after. So maybe
but as I say, the margins are so fine. And again, the last 10 minutes, and I cannot put it down to fatigue and tiredness or mental fatigue. I think that's nonsense. I think it's just collectively the confidence is shot.
Yeah, and to be honest, I completely agree.
That's a manager's job to instill that confidence. There's no doubt about it.
I think, let's be honest, it seems like they're scared when they go 1-0 up. And the frustrating thing for me, Tina, I don't know if you thought the same, but it was almost as if the first time we sat off properly, Wissa was maybe the only one closing down for their goal at the start, and well, it's Wissa, so that tells you everything. It wasn't a good press. But for me, it felt like that was the first moment where we actually dropped off and felt a little scared of Nottingham Forest, and they punished us. Is it just a case of Newcastle's confidence letting them sit back and then causing those errors, do you think?
I think throughout the game there was flashes of where you would say, okay, if that player was playing every game, they probably would have had the confidence to do better in that position. I think by the last goal, I think like a lot of the players who people are mentioning as being somewhere in that goal where they could have done better, it was like Bruno and Hall, and Hall had just taken a clatter in, and Bruno's probably not ready for a full 90 minutes yet. So in that respect, you could almost put that down to more to do with it. Just two of the players who were needed to defend that move were kind of on their last legs by that point. I think confidence-wise, because the thing is, I think our defence actually played really well. Like, I think one of our best players throughout the game was Botman. And I think he was very, very sure of himself throughout the game. So it's confidence-wise, I mean, even Malik Chow, there was a couple of attacks like towards the end of the game where I thought this is going to be one where Malik Chow jumps for this header. It's just going to go straight over him. They're going to be in and they're going to score a goal. And that didn't happen. Like, they held it together. So I think going forward, confidence is a big lack. That there's a massive lack of confidence going forward. And I think that's why I would justify, like, I know a lot of people in chat have already mentioned, like, Jacob Murphy not being good enough. But if you look at it, he's one of the only players who actually gets the ball from being outside the box to being inside the box. And I think right now he's needed just purely because if you take him out, who else is pinging in crosses in that match? Like, there wasn't a lot of other like penetrative balls outside of what Murphy provides. So Yeah, I think, maybe if the substitutions for Hall and Bruno had came a little bit earlier, the goal, the end result might have been different, but, we'll never know, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, Peter.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, Murphy, yeah, he's old school, isn't he? So he will put in that cross, like you said, Tina. Is he good enough, or kind of long term for next season? No, I think pretty obvious. The right hand side needs needs looking at, a bit of a revamp probably. But yeah, with Murphy, just for these last few games, that's the thing. You kind of hope that he will put that ball in the box and kind of buck the trend of this pendulum. And to be fair to him, he did in that first half. He put in some really, really good balls into the box. And, I think he was just inches away from Asula sometimes just to get on the end of it. I think Murphy dropped off second half. Yeah, but that's the thing. I think the midfield lacks pace for me. Obviously, you've got Bruno and Tonali in the middle, J7 left, Murphy right. J7, I didn't think. I know he done okay. He was combative. He won the ball back quite well, and he was getting his body in the way and imposing himself. But when it comes to the creativity, and cutting teams open, I think that lack of pace kind of like was there for all to see. You're not asking the opposition a different question that way, are you? They're all kind of the same in terms of that acceleration and the amount of pace they've all got. So I think that's what kind of came out of that match for me. I mentioned it pre-match as well, and I just wonder if obviously J7 left wing, can't be long term. So I wonder if a new left winger with pace, maybe a new centre mid who's got pace, is going to be needed definitely for next season, I think.
Yeah, definitely needed some pace in there. I don't know if Bruno's not 100% fit, but the moment Nick Voltemada overtook him to defend, I think it was about the 30-odd minutes in the first half.
What a track back from Big Nick, though, by the way. I think that's another thing that's probably going under the radar. Like, he absolutely busted gut to get back. So anyone saying, Nick's finished here, he's given up, he doesn't want to play for the shirt anymore, just watch that one, 3-minute section of that game for the weekend and eat your words, because Nick was absolutely balling it back.
Yeah, he was giving a lot of effort, and it was interesting that we've went crosses, because I did actually have something prepared on crosses for us. So I've got this here, and I'll give a bit of context. So Newcastle put 14 crosses into the box against Nottingham Forest. Only 4 found a header or foot of a Newcastle player. In the reverse fixture, we tried 26. Only 5 were successful. So across the 2 games against Nottingham Forest, 40 crosses, only 9 found a Newcastle United player. And to be fair, that's a decent percentage compared to what we've been all season. What you see here, Newcastle, it's all too familiar. Newcastle get into wide areas. They put the ball in the box. The quality just isn't there, or maybe the movement isn't there. Box occupation isn't there, or maybe the type of cross just doesn't suit the players attacking it. Waist height for Nick Voltemada. Post height for Johan Wissa. But seeing here some of the crossing accuracy of players, and it's been the biggest gripe I've had with Jacob Murphy this season. 120 crosses into the box. There only 23 have been accurate, leaving him with a percentage of 19%, which for me is actually a lot higher than what I was expecting. If I'm completely honest, it feels like it's every 1 in 10. But just when you look at the percentages across the board there, Trippier's got a pretty decent percentage with 33%, Bruno 28%, but the rest, Jacob Ramsey at the bottom there, and I do apologise because my head is in the way as always, but Jacob Ramsey there, 5 successful crosses from 9, 55%, obviously much smaller portion, but you're looking at these stats and you're thinking, hang on, so this is about 75 to 85% of every single player that puts a cross in for Newcastle United, it's just going to go straight to an opposition player. And when we talk about Eddie Howe, we talk about his not wanting to take risks.
You could rephrase that as well, Michael, though. You could say, is not being won by
yeah.
our players. You know,
yeah.
you can put a bit of that down to desire, because how many times have we said, for example, Alanga should have had more assists than he's had if players had done that bit in the middle, and the same with Murphy as well, by the way. You know, just the players not busting a gut to get there and doing the right thing and showing for them.
Yeah, I completely agree.
As well as them being inaccurate, of course.
Yeah, we've seen some absolute howlers. We've also seen some where it feels like a player should be right underneath it, and they're not. And it leads me to the bigger question of, crossing seems to be Newcastle's biggest problem this season. We've just not managed to get it right. Peter, what do you think? Is the issue the delivery, the movement, or Newcastle not getting enough bodies in the box from what you've seen this season?
It's a bit of everything, but I think when we've played the one up front most of this season, I think in that formation, I don't think that helps, because ordinarily you'll have one player in the box. I know you've got the winger from the other side who's going to come in as well, but they've got to make up the ground, and I just think that's probably held us back when it comes to some of these crosses that we've been putting in the box, being outnumbered basically. I think Murphy, like I say, I think he can still deliver a quality cross. So I'll give him that. I'll give him credit for I think first half, it was hard to tell who was at fault there, because some of his crosses in that first half, it just felt like inches away from Asula. Now, is that on Murphy? Is it on Asula? I don't know. But yeah, can I just say as well, I mean, what a ball from Ramsey for the goal.
God,
absolutely incredible.
It was almost a carbon copy of Bruno's to Asula.
Before before Ramsey's pass, Bruno's little pass was really good as well to Ramsey. But then Ramsey just in half a second just put it on a plate for Asula. Perfect weight on the pass. So that was quality, just to cut them open like that. But yeah, I think the left wing and the right wing are going to be probably looked at this summer. You would like to think, because we're not getting enough quality into the forwards basically. But hopefully, with Eddie's played two up front now the last two games, and I think going forwards, you'd like to think again that will help in terms of delivering the ball from out wide. You've got more chance then of one of your teammates getting on the end of it with two strikers in there, or at least one in the box, maybe one who's going to make a late run into the box, Gary Speed style,
But Steely in a green, he's saying play Tonali, J7, Bruno and Ramsey in a diamond with Asula and Barnes up top. You can pick any two you want up top, but that's it reinforces what you're saying about playing two up top.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And to be fair, when we've played the two up top, we have put less crosses into the box. 14 against Forest, 13 against Brighton. But it feels like Newcastle are playing a lot more centrally for me. And, you see that with the goal, and it's what we've asked for when we've been talking about Newcastle of, let's try and mix things up a little bit, and let's not make it too predictable. Christina, do you think that is the issue? Newcastle are just a bit too predictable. When it goes to Jacob Murphy, you know exactly what he's going to do, don't you?
I mean, and that might be why a lot of these crosses don't end up getting a final product. I think Asula was unlucky not to have a hat-trick at the weekend, to be fair. One of the crosses from Murphy, if it bounces off Asula's foot any other way, there's a very high chance that goes into the back of the net. One of them, was just slightly overhit, still went to one of our players. I think when it comes to we could probably do with more people getting into the box to cause a little bit more chaos. I think we do sometimes get a little bit isolated, and maybe it is becoming a little bit predictable. And that's kind of one of the things that I've noticed the last couple of games. When it comes to substitutions, one of them, I think it was against there was the Arsenal game, and then there was the game just after that where Waldemar had came on. So it was the Arsenal game, where Waldemar came on, and he was just something different that they hadn't dealt with for the rest of the game. And I think yesterday, Ramsey was that player. When Ramsey came on, he looked like an absolute world beater. Like, I'm really excited to see the player he's going to become. He absolutely tore Nottingham Forest apart. His every time he got the ball, he looked like he was going to do something. And I think at that stage in the game, having something different come onto the pitch is perfect. And I think he took the emphasis a bit more away from it. I mean, he was picking the ball up all over the place, so that was a little bit out to the left, or whether he's just picking up in the centre. He was then bringing it more into where he was then in a position to really create an attacking move. So there's signs there that we don't have to be as predictable as we are, but part of me thinks now that maybe having Murphy put those crosses in, it on one hand you've got a chance of it going in. On the other hand, if it doesn't work for the whole first hour of the game, then when you do change it up and you do start playing to the centre, then a team's got to kind of adapt to it. Speaking of adapting, by the way, that whole goalkeeper going down and people having a timeout needs to be stopped. That needs to be stomped right out. I mean, okay, fair enough, right? We've done it once, okay, but that was different because that was a real injury, which Eddie Howe had luckily told Lewis Hall, I think Ramsey might be about to fall over, would better get there. And he was just agreeing. He was like, yeah, no, he looks a little bit shaky. And then lo and behold, Ramsdale did fall over and get hurt. That was something completely different. What I saw at the weekend was their goalkeeper just going down for no reason whatsoever. Eddie Howe hadn't even predicted that he was going to go down. And then there was a full timeout at the side of the pitch with bits of paper involved. And I'm sitting there thinking, this surely can't be legal.
Yeah, now we know how other teams feel. Eddie should have got the crystal ball out and predicted it 100% because he manages it for us numerous times.
He just happened to predict in that last one, and he was telling Lewis, he was like, oh, Ramsdale looks a bit rocky. I tell you what, if he does go down, then he just can all run over. Go and tell people if Ramsdale happens to get injured, for you to all come running over. That's a completely different thing, Michael. That's not the same thing.
It's crystal ball, and you'll love to see it. Hopefully, you can have someone picking the team going forward. But what I do have to say, and it's something that, we've alluded to for the last few games, whether fans agree with Eddie's decisions or not, the team has been better in the last 3 games. So it is difficult to be critical. There are definitely still criticisms there. In my opinion, there's a lot that we still could be improving, but you are seeing that the performances are improving, the energy's been better, the focus has been better, the commitment is clearly there. So I completely agree with Gary to a degree, but I do agree you can still be critical of pretty much any performance, in my opinion.
Just on that subject as well, Steely said it makes more sense holding Trips playing if we're playing with 2 up top, because they can both get crosses in. We saw Trips stats
exactly. Yeah,
and if you're gonna play 2 up top, they should be fullback, wing back.
It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing.
Yeah,
you got the 2 up front, brilliant, but then you're kind of handicapping yourself with the service you're going to provide from the fullback area. So. Yeah, kind of, it's frustrating. Like I say, at least he is doing 2 up front. I'll say that. That is a positive.
Looked good, by the way. That looked really good yesterday. I really enjoyed that.
I'll
Especially
be crying out for it. Yeah.
I was so disappointed, not necessarily with Asula, but that it didn't come off when finally we had Walter Morda playing exactly where we want him to play. He does his thing, beats his man, lays the ball off. Just not a perfect ball, but near enough a perfect ball. And Asula just couldn't quite put the finishing touch to it, because that should have been a goal as well.
If he had just lifted lifted it slightly,
anything,
that would have been a goal we've been talking about for weeks.
That's what he's got to learn, isn't it?
Or lashed it with
and
his
he
left
is getting
foot.
better, there's no doubt about that. I'd written him off, but I haven't written him off now.
No, I've got to give him the number 9. Give him that number 9 shirt next season.
Oh, I don't know
him and Walter Mara up front. As soon as the future. Did you see his free kick?
Burden to bear.
I didn't even know that man could take free kicks.
Yeah,
it deflected.
If it hadn't deflected, that was going in. That deflection saved Matt Sells. If that hadn't taken a deflection off that player's shoulder, that's a goal, and we're all sitting here calling Asula the absolute next superstar of Newcastle United. And honestly, a little bit. And what was frustrating about the chance that Walter Martin laid on as well is that if Asula had went for that with his left foot, it would have been from almost exactly the same position as he curled one past Manchester United from. And fair enough, he'd had like dribble it before that one, but I was thinking now, because I heard like there was a couple of the guys who I was sitting with, one of them said should have came on with that with his left foot, and I thought no, I think he's made the right decision. And I thought no, actually though, because Asula can't hit them with his left, so there was two things he could have done differently to get a goal out of that, and we would have been sitting here calling Walter Marda and Asula the absolute best strike force in Newcastle's last like decade of history.
Wow.
I mean,
actually, combinations isn't many to choose from, is
like,
there?
who else are you picking?
Yeah, the closest you get.
And Ayosi Perez. I mean, come on, there's levels to this.
Hey, no dissing Jose Perez.
Perez is Irish.
I like
My favourite
Jose
player
Perez.
for yes.
Oh God, I had some time on my hand defending him sometimes.
Really? Oh, I wish I was on there.
The number of pals I've got who couldn't stand him. I said, have you seen the work he does on the pitch?
I loved him, mate. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Peter, I'm not going to ask you about Jose, but what about Asula? Do you, from what you've seen from the, let's say, yesterday as well, do you think he's the future, or do you think he's ripe for selling?
Well, just on Jose, I do think overall, yeah, he was quality. I'll say that. Asula.
Can I just point out I wasn't hating on Jose Perez though, just to put it out there.
You said it now, Tina.
I didn't mean it like that.
I think you burned his fan club to the ground.
No, I loved him.
For me, Asula, he's shown that he's quality, and he's shown that he is, I think, good enough for Premier League, and I think he's worth keeping. I wouldn't say that he's done enough to say that. To show that he's going to be a starter next season. Yeah. I think that might be going a bit too far. I don't know. I think we'll see. I mean, he's still got 3 games left to kind of do his stuff, and I think that would strengthen his case if he can keep this form up. I think he tailed off a little bit second half against Forest, minus that free kick. The free kick was quality. But yeah, I mean, next season, I would be looking to have him as a backup player, someone who can make an impact and maybe become a starter as the season develops next season. If that's how the kind of situation turns out, that's what squad players are for, isn't it? They've got to show their worth when they do get the chance. So, but I think in the summer, you've got to be looking to bring in, I think, a new signing, and then also give either Wissa or Voltemada probably a starting spot. I don't know. I mean, let's see what they can do as well these next 3 games. But it's weird. I think them 3 are kind of battling it out a little bit for the future, for their spot for next season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who gets it, because personally, I don't think it's. I definitely don't think it's going to be Wissa. Steely in there saying, "I've said it all season. Asula better striker than the rest. The more he plays, the more he will develop." And Geordie, well, just a Geordie say the opposite. Asula the future? Wow, madness.
And there we have fans' opinion, folks.
If he had scored that free kick,
right here.
If he had chipped cells when Waldemar put him in and he buried that free kick, would have been sitting here calling him, everyone would be screaming out for him to have that. He's got so much potential. Like, honestly, and you know what it is, and he plays the striker ball the way that we scream out for it as well. We say, we want a bit of a maverick. We want somebody who can confuse defenders. We want somebody who will run at defenders. We want somebody who will pull defenders out of position by going into the channels. Asula does all of that. Absolutely all of it. He's just hampered by the fact that when he does get the ball, occasionally he looks a little bit like Bambi on ice and he just loses his foot a little bit, but then somehow usually beats 2 defenders by doing that. So, I mean, you can't really hate on the lad.
I love his enthusiasm.
On the subject of Bambi on ice, how unlucky was Bruno for to suddenly lose his feet when the opportunity that he had?
It was funny, that.
Oh, and that was a good move that built up to that as well,
It's literally the last time we touch the ball before they score as well, which is the horrible thing.
Oh,
yeah. Hits his left foot, can't control it with his right. He tries to get the left. I don't know why I'm doing it, so like people can see it. But he tries to move the right to try and get it. Forrest get the ball back, and then the keeper hold it for a couple of minutes, and they end up putting it in the back of the net, unfortunately. But can't blame him for that.
Probably worth mentioning at this point, though, that prior to that, Bruno's been one of our best players on that pitch again. I mean, the flicks that he's got, like the sheer just Brazilianness of him, is fantastic. Like the little outside of the foot passes that he tries. Like him and Ramsey in the same midfield. And I hate to say that because, I mean, J7 was also just randomly remembered that he was Brazilian for 5 minutes just in the middle of the game. He's like, oh, hang on, lads, it's okay. I'm Brazilian. Takes on two of their players.
He actually carried the ball forward.
And he did it so well. It's like, and there was literally one of the lads who was sitting next to us just went, oh, he remembered he's a Brazilian. And he did it. And so I hate, like, not including J7 in this, but Ramsey and Bruno, between them, have enough creativity, I believe, for us to actually have something going forward. I think if we persisted with, you know, Ramsey, Bruno, Walter-Mata and Asula all in the same lineup, I think we could be looking at something special in that little four.
Yeah, let's be honest, there's a lot of talent in there, isn't it? You've just got to find that right player to go in front of them. So, obviously, we've mentioned Asula. I mean, he had the volley in the first chance we've mentioned. We haven't mentioned, sorry, that was the toughest chance of all. Did really well to get in front of his man, had the one-on-one, as we've said. Peter, as you mentioned, he disappears a bit in that second half. We've mentioned that we'd maybe not want to sell him, but the question I'll ask is, the price tag this summer is apparently between 30 to 40 million. So let's say 40 million. Christina, if he wasn't a Newcastle player and we were offered him for 40 million, would you take him? There we go.
Wait, because I'm thinking of this from the perspective of another. If I had seen him play the way that I've seen him play this season, 100% yes.
Highlights reel.
But I'm wondering if people will have noticed. But no, I would say yes. If the person who's watching them has seen enough of them play football, I would 100% bite your arm off to have Asula for 40 million. Like, I honestly think he's a good player. I was excited about him before, and he's got such a... Let's not forget, okay, we need to remember his original highlight, which was him who had not played even a single 30 seconds of Carabao Cup football on that bus after we'd won the Carabao Cup, going absolutely wild and living his best life, giving it the dancers, holding the trophy above his head like as if he hadn't played a second of football in the Carabao Cup, but he celebrated that victory so happily. And he's just, since I've seen him play a couple of times, I've always thought there's a player there, like he's really exciting. If we can get the best out of Asula, then next season he's going to be worth 80 million.
Wow. I mean, to be fair, what I will say is...
Hot takes, Wilson.
Yeah, we do talk about not being enough personalities in football. He certainly brings the personality into the game. I 100% agree with that. Peter, what would you say if 40 million to buy Asula? If you're Newcastle, he's at another club. From what you've seen, would you take it?
I would say no, but because I don't think he's done enough over a longer period of time to kind of warrant that. But
I'm Peter out now, like.
Right. Got to be brutally honest with you, Tina. I think I would say no, but I do like him. You know, I love his enthusiasm. I agree with what he's saying. You know, I think what he brings is personality, and he brings that liveliness. So he's got that fire in his belly as well. He wants to kind of cause problems. Again, I've said it before, a bit like Loire back in the day. Reminds me of him, Lamana Loire. So I would definitely try and keep him, but just the trouble is, I think Asula might say to Newcastle, look, I want to start next season. Wherever I'm at, I want to play football. Yeah. I think that might be the issue, where they might say, well, we can't guarantee that. He might be a squad player again, and I think Asula may well say at the club, well, I've gotten this offer, I've got that offer from elsewhere. They're going to guarantee us a starting spot. So maybe that's going to be the issue, I think, whether he stays or goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to replace that. To show me another, since the days of Lamano Trezor Lualua himself, find me another William Asula. Find me one player who can cause as much absolute chaos just by touching the football. Like, nobody's got a clue what he's... It's always a surprise what he does. Because you just think, oh, he's fluffed that. No, hold on, he's taken that player. Oh, he's fallen. No, hold on, he's scored. There we go. That's Will Asula, and you're not going to find
one
another player
highlight
like
reel,
that.
yeah.
Exactly. That was all just one attack.
That was
That
the Man United goal. Chris is saying Asula only confuses defenders because he's a headless chicken. He has attributes, but will never be a top player with his terrible football IQ.
I don't know.
That's my point as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
I remember the Man United game, we've mentioned it before, but literally laughing at him as he's going down the touchline, and then he bends it in, to be fair, so credit to him. Some more in the.
Do you know what he reminded me of? Yes, sorry to cut in. There was just
go
one
on.
time there was a bit where he had the ball and he was running towards like away from the goal and like almost towards the corner flag, but like towards where you put it out for a throw. And he just started doing step overs, and I turned to be fair. I was like, do you know what this is? It's like when you give a kid a FIFA controller and he just keeps spamming the skill button, like he's just wiggling that right stick. He's just like, yes, go on, doing some min skills for no reason. Had his back to the player, there was nobody in front of him. He was at the corner flag, just starts doing some tricks.
He's the kind of
he's not Gary Brady, I'll say that. But yeah,
I have no idea who Gary Brady is.
Very
I'm full
obscure.
of saying we need to keep Asula because we can't get the #1 world domination by 23 without him.
I agree. I think we need Will Asula. Give him the number 9 shirt. I'm literally putting my flag on that hill.
Well, that flag might stay there for a while because I don't think anyone else is going to replace it.
Let us be wrong.
Gary, they're saying Asula's pace is unreal. Defenders are worried to death. He should have hit it first time with his left foot, as you were saying just before, but we've seen how good he is. David Veach saying he needs to learn how to run backwards and not do step overs every time he tries. But Gary also makes a great point. Pre-season for Asula will be his make or break for first team chances, and we'll probably get a good idea on what Newcastle United are going to do by who we bring in as well. If we bring in a striker early, you can imagine that he might be resigned to that second striker role if we play a 2 or a 4-2-3-1 or whatever. Then David Veach saying, Asula will take us to the very pinnacle of football. He's so quick and no one has an FV clue what he's going to do. And Michael in there, Asula is a bench striker at best. So as Wim was just saying before there, the miracles of football opinions from fans. Let's be honest, we all see things in a different way, and that's what makes the game absolutely beautiful. And as we've mentioned and alluded to, something else that was beautiful was that pass by Jacob Ramsey for the Newcastle goal.
What a
Let's
player.
be honest. Give him credit because we haven't seen much of that this season from many players. Starts from the back, down the left-hand side, goes to Dan Burn, Forrest double up, because of course, it's Dan Burn. Of course you're going to double up on him, get the ball back. Why wouldn't you? Goes into Joe Linton, Wissa pulls out wide, the whole Forest defence moves to the right. Bruno into Ramsey, Ramsey into Barnes, and it was 1-0 Newcastle, just like that. Fast thinking, good movement, and good football from Newcastle United. Where's that been? Because I haven't seen that enough
But it was
this
fantastic,
season.
though. It was
Absolutely
really exciting.
brilliant. And you mentioned Ramsey and Bruno in the same midfield there. Is Ramsey the replacement for J7, or do you think we're going to have to try and figure out a way of getting a number 6 in there? Maybe Tonali, Bruno and Ramsey.
For me, right, I look at Ramsey and I think he should be competing for Bruno's spot for next season. I think them two should battle it out for that spot. And I think we need number 6 next to one of them. So I think Bruno would be the starter. I just worry about the number 6. So I think Ramsey, and I like the 4-4-2 as well. So obviously if you're playing the 3 centre mids, I'd have Ramsey, Bruno all day long, and then a third centre mid. But if it's just 2, then I would just worry about, again, the lack of cover, that we've seen this season, the gaps between the midfield and defence.
Is that working on the assumption that Tonali's not going to be there, like, or that you wouldn't take Tonali?
To be honest, right, I would look at Tonali and think if we can get big bucks for him, like we've got Ramsey, we've got Bruno, we've got Miley. Can we not maybe use that money to our advantage and just say to Tonali, look, he's quality. I know he's a really good player, but I'm just putting it out there hypothetically. I mean, he's a quality player, but I think we've got an issue with that centre midfield area because we've got players who are all very similar. They're all alike. Do you know what I mean? Bruno, Miley, Tonali, Ramsey. So yeah, I think if you sell Tonali, it's not the end of the world for me, as long as you're kind of proactive enough to use that money that you get. Because I think, again, you could get big bucks for Tonali. So yeah, I'm just thinking maybe get a number 6, maybe ask Miley if he wants to do that number 6 role. And then you say to Ramsey and Bruno, you two kind of battle it out for the more attacking slot. Because I think Ramsey and Bruno both want to get forward, don't they? Yeah. So maybe them two together, is that 2 attacking? Maybe not, but that's what I'll be worried about if they played together long term,
Yeah, that's the thing. You can change it per match, but I know per game. Sorry, Win, go on.
Just the brothers there. Tonali is the most overrated player ever.
Hey, he's the most Marmite in our fan base.
Tina, wow.
He is the Marmite of our fan base, I would say, by the way, because some people absolutely adore him, some people absolutely seem to hate him, and it does surprise me because there is a really good player in there. But
Tonali's world class, genuinely world class.
But I think the position he plays, it's very easy to go sort of understated. In the work,
I think Ramsey's looked better than Tonali, like this season, for me.
I think Ramsey's been tidier, but I think Tonali sort of his overall game's been. But I definitely agree Ramsey's a tidier player, and if you're going to play more possession led, Ramsey would 100% be in there for me.
In front of Tonali.
If we're gonna, I'd say in games where we're gonna dominate the possession and lead the game, I'd want to play Tonali, Ramsey, and Bruno personally. But if you're saying, who's gonna play alongside Bruno, I think in games where we're gonna control it, I would like to see Ramsey. In games where we're gonna, be more up against it, like your Chelsea's, your Man City stuff, it's Tonali all day for me. But in those games against the lesser teams, I think Ramsey's got a great part to play for us.
The problem with me, and Peter been saying it for a while, Tina's been saying it forever, that we need a number 6. Mm-hmm. The problem for me is if we go out and buy a number 6, we haven't got to buy 1, we've got to buy 2. Because if we're going to buy a number 6 and change the game plan and spend pre-season and everything, changing the game plan to play it with a 6, then what happens when the 6 inevitably gets a suspension or an injury?
We'll buy Rodri as a sub for that number 6, and then he can come on and play. So Rodri and Kamara, buy both of them. We've got plenty of cover. But you can also just use a different setup. Like in certain games, have that number 6, that very strong number 6. When not, I mean Tonali can perform in that role.
Well, I think he's wasted playing there myself.
I agree. I think a number 6 to let those two crack on,
but he's
and
the
then
only
have
one who can
rotation with.
I think Miley could do it. I think Miley could be a future.
Miley probably could. I mean, he's played at centre back. He's played at right back.
Again, you never know what this injury is gonna do to him. That's the problem.
True.
When a young player gets injured, I've seen so many of them over the years. They just never come. And this is just one after another with Miley. And it's a worrying trend.
Yeah, but Miley and Tino, the big worries with them is those injuries. And I mentioned the two together because that's where it kind of feels where Miley's going. He can't really get a run of games together now without picking up an injury. And hopefully he gets the pre-season and he can sort of build from there. But as you say, when particularly with an injury like this with his fibula, you never know how someone's going to come back from that. But he's changed things up before. We've already said, we said a few years back, he needed to bulk up a little bit, get a bit stronger. Came back from a pre-season doing exactly that. The positive is that he's young, so he is going to recover from these injuries a little bit better than maybe a Trippier or someone would. But I actually do agree he has all the potential to play in the 6, but I also feel he's potentially a little bit wasted there. He's another one that I want to see a little bit further forward, and I didn't see it originally. But Iain used to bang on with me all the time and say, no, Miley has to play further forward, and I used to go, nah, controls the game from deep. Don't know what you're talking about.
I've got a name for you though that you can put into that conversation. Edgar Davids. Edgar Davids is a prime player who you would look at and think, I want him to get forward, I want him to produce one of those like powerful shots, I want him to show his creativity, but he was also always mostly a defensive midfielder. And I think Miley could be like an Edgar Davids type, be very defensively minded and be perfect at prettying things up, but then, still join attacks. Just because you've got attacking prowess doesn't mean you can't play that from a number 6. There are a few players who do manage that. I mean, I'd probably go as far as to put Xavi into that list as well. He was a bit more of a defensive, creative midfielder at times in his Barcelona spell.
Yeah, absolutely. And just mentioned the bulk up there, and again, UFC saying maybe the bulk up has affected Miley's body because we all have different tolerances. You're completely right. It'll be the body that Miley's had for the entirety of his career up until last summer. It's what he's been used to, what his game's been built around. As soon as you change something like that, it can cause issues. You'd think maybe as a younger player, maybe he'd be okay, but you could be completely right. I think no matter what, we can't see his future at right back. Or am I wrong there? Anyone see him at right back in the future?
Lewis Hall?
No, Lewis Miley.
Not at all.
Exactly.
I think
Peter, you're on the same wavelength?
Do you know what? No, I think he's got too much to offer in midfield, but honestly, at the same time, he's played bloody good at right back. I can't deny that. Yeah. It does make us think when I watch him at right back, I'm thinking, Jesus, he actually could be a really good right back. But I agree though as well. His attributes would be you'd want him in midfield. I think if he had to choose what position, he's got too much to offer not to play in midfield. I think at the end of the day. So, yeah,
I completely agree. Sorry, Tim, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say as an occasional covering right back, he's absolutely fine. I don't think he's a natural right. He doesn't have that. How you were talking before about Lewis Hall bombing down the right and putting a cross in. He doesn't have that at right back. I don't think he's got that right back instinct to play a 1-2 and get down the touchline. I think he's always going to kind of, if you play him at right back, he'll do a fantastic job. But I think you are kind of expecting him to then kind of drop into the centre midfield, much how Trippier and Lewis Hall kind of play that position. I think if you want a classic right back, you would only want Miley to have, if he has to cover there, it's good to know that he can. But you wouldn't want him as your starting right back, surely. No,
absolutely not. And it would be really weird if he was the kind of player that ends up playing his career there. But saw it at Barcelona, Sergio Roberto. I mean, he wasn't really technical enough to be a Barcelona central midfielder when you look at the likes they've had what they've had in the past. So that makes more sense. But he moved out to a right back and was absolutely fantastic for them. Just moving on to the number 10, technically the second striker role in the game. Obviously, Nick Voltemada played up front alongside Will Asula. For me, I mean, Iain joined us yesterday and said he saw Nick a little bit on the left-hand side. I thought personally, from what I saw, that he was playing the number 10 in your whatever you want to say, a 4-2-3-1, a 4-4-1-1. Does anyone disagree with that? Just before I get to the point that assumes that he's agree with them in the 10.
Well, I think it was a 10, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tina?
10 or shadow striker. It was almost like two front four for a lot of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, just for those wondering, Tottenham have just taken the lead against Leeds' Matthias Tell. So maybe West Ham won't have anything to play for at the weekend because they'll already be virtually down, unfortunately, for them. But back to Big Nick. So I'd personally say more of a 4-4-1-1, but we're all in agreement, more in the 10. Given the 3 rule, Forest happy to sit off in possession. Murphy and Joe Linton seemed a bit more advanced, so maybe you can say that's why it looked more like 3. But Voldemort is clearly operating in that pocket behind Asula, and there were moments. He plays that excellent through ball for Asula, as we've mentioned, probably should score. But overall, I actually thought, and this might be down to match sharpness, but I actually thought it was quite wasteful, particularly in the first 30 minutes. There was quite a few loose touches, a few sloppy decisions, but I don't know if it's just a player trying to build his rhythm and get his sharpness back, or if it's what Michael's saying in the chat of Walt not doing it consistently. He's had a purple patch, but he's been worked out. I love watching him, but he's too slow and isn't physical enough to play in the Premier League. What do you think, Peter? Did you see enough from Voldemort to say, you know what, let's try him in the 10 again next week?
I would definitely give him another shot next week in the number 10, but I also agree. I think he was a mixed bag against Forest. And also, just for me, I've said this before, I don't kind of think he's the top dog like some people kind of, put him up on this pedestal as if he's the finished article and he's world class and he's this and that. Like, yeah. I think he's still trying to develop his game. He's still learning. I agree also that Eddie, I think, has left him out in the cold for too long. I don't blame Eddie for trying him in the number 8 in the midfield position, because he's trying to get him on the ball there and he's trying to get him involved and take him away from the centre halves, who I think he was struggling against at times earlier in the season. Don't get us wrong, he was also scoring goals. I know he started really well, but I think he then hit a patch where he did start to struggle physically. So, yeah, I think in the end, the number 8 role didn't quite work out. That was a mixed bag. I think, again, started really well, but I think his best position is the number 10. But I think we've got to persist and not to put too much pressure on Voldemort. Like I say, he's still developing, I think, as a player. But yeah, definitely going forwards, give him another shot. And I think we saw glimpses, didn't we? He still provided some really nice, some quality in terms of like passing, going forwards, unlocking the door, linking up. When he's got players around him, ahead of him, you see that pass where he kind of delayed it. He was kind of running with the ball, delayed it, and then he played it just the right time for Asula. So, yeah, I think mixed bag, because I agree, he also lost it a few times where he was wasteful. But I guess you could say that he's going to be a bit rusty, being out for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I think that might have been the main issue. What did you think, Tina? Is it just rusty, not match sharp, or do you agree with Michael that he's maybe just not physical enough and too slow for this league?
I 100% think it's just match sharpness. I think if he'd been playing if he'd been starting for a few weeks, a few of the things that he got wrong yesterday, I don't think he would have got wrong. And I'm not saying necessarily that it was bad to leave him out of the team. I mean, Eddie's had a plan for these other games, but I think if Voldemort gets a run in that position, I think that could be something really good. And I think we saw that because I think it was just before he laid off that ball for Sylvie, he'd just had another time where he had picked the ball up in a similar position and he had been a bit wasteful. And when he picked it up, I remember thinking, oh, Nick, please don't mess this up. And then he was running at these defenders. I was like, okay, just don't have him just stick his foot out and take the ball off. And then he's managed to take them one way and put a ball through for Asula. And I was like, that was perfect. And we saw it also when he came on against Arsenal. With some of what he was doing there was he'd almost adapted to putting himself down when people are behind him, like going down and then winning the throw-in. And he runs from the centre circle forward to then put a pass in. I mean, he laid one up for Willis for Wissa in that game, and he nearly had an assist for Willisula. So if I was looking at that as a coach, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I want to see more of that. I want to see, if I keep playing them two together, how's that going to look? And I think there was enough positives to take from it yesterday to suggest that it would absolutely be worth doing again.
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's his heat map from Sunday.
You know, they give us a heart attack with that heat map. I looked back at the screen and I didn't see our face. Then I was like, oh no, my screen's crashed. I was like, oh no, it's one of Wynn's little.
Very, very definitely a number 10, as you can see there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see there's a few advanced moments on the left, to be fair. So maybe I can see where people come from. The issue I see with that heat map is that
not enough in the
box area. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a bit pitch colour, isn't it? Should be red.
It should be yellow. It should be yellower than what it is. Put it like that. The number 10 is definitely the red area.
Yeah, absolutely. Niall in this as well, saying he should have had an assist only because Asula couldn't finish his dinner. He lost the ball a lot, and he had no teams around him as they doubled up on him. That I will say I do agree with. We didn't get near enough close to him in some moments in the game in that first half. I do have to say. So I know I've been a little bit harsh. And we were talking just before there about how potentially get Ramsey into the team. Also said when he came in, I think Ramsey would work better on the left with Voltamata in the 10. But then Steely said, I'd rather play Ramsey in the 10. Not related to the same comment, obviously, but in the same conversation. So do you see Ramsey and Voltamata actually being able to play together? Or do you think maybe in that 10 role they're going to be a bit too similar? And if Ramsey plays on the left, it doesn't give us the pace. What do you think, Wyn?
For me, the problem with Walter Mortar, as I've said, is at the minute, and I'm sure he can improve. You know, given the size that he is, surely he must be able to improve physically, because it's physically for me where he kind of lets himself down. As soon as somebody crowds him and gets on top of him, yes, he's got the fancy footwork. If he's just got that, I don't know how much space you need, 6 inches or whatever. But if a centre half gets on him, he doesn't seem to have any physical strength. You know, we watched Mateta and Brobby. You know, just that physical attribute that you need when you're in the penalty area in the Premier League, and he hasn't got it. As big as he is, he hasn't got it, which also affects his aerial effectiveness.
Yeah.
So I say I want to use his footwork. I want to see his deft passes used more, and that, for me, you get that when you play him just slightly behind the striker.
Exactly, and Gav makes a good point in the chat as well, by the way. We must remember the team's not used to playing with a 10, so we need to work on it.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine it's something that in training we've been sort of working on. I mean, let's be honest, we know from playing the 5 at the back in pre-seasons like 2 years ago and not really utilising it until Arsenal in the Cup in the semi-final. You know, we will probably have a fair few plans in place for these kind of situations. Just maybe the confidence isn't there to actually think we've been working on, and I imagine this has been something we worked on for a little while. Tina, what do you think? Do you think Ramsey and Voltamata can actually fit into the same team? Or do you think that's almost too good on the ball?
I think they can. I think there's plenty of ways that you can fit them into the same team. You could have Ramsey on the left. You could have Ramsey as the 8, or if you're playing Nick as the striker, you could play Ramsey as the 10. I think there's loads of different ways that you could fit both of them in there, and each one of them is kind of a bit exciting. You could absolutely make an argument for Ramsey just filling in the J7 role from yesterday, bringing what he brought in the second half of that game, and then he's threading balls through for, you know, Voltamata and Asula. And I think, you know, it's very attack heavy. Like, if you were going to do that every game, you would hope that we'd have somebody sitting as a number 6. But if you notice, once we did have like the, you know, when Bruno was getting a bit more forward, and when we brought Ramsey on, Tonali almost dropped into like a full number 6 role. Like, he was almost sitting alongside the centre backs for part of the game. Like, not long before we scored our first goal, Tonali was sitting right at the back.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's many ways that you can fit both Ramsey and Voltamata, and I just hope that we've got both of them in the starting lineup next season. Like, I hope that Waldemara's confidence continues to grow, because I think we've seen with Ramsey himself, when you do get a few games and you have a couple of good touches, like, you look at Ramsey now compared to like 6 months ago, everybody was saying, oh, we wasted money on Ramsey, why have we signed Ramsey? And I don't think anyone who watched that game yesterday would be disappointed that Ramsey's wearing our shirt. You know, he looked like the player that we would have been quite happy to have signed last summer.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's be honest, he's looked like a player that's grown into the squad quite a lot. And the thing I like about him the most is he rarely loses the ball. You saw when he came on against Brighton, he just looked so composed on the ball. And I know he had that moment against Barcelona, which is absolutely tragic. And to be honest, I hope he has nightmares about it. He'll stop doing it again. But it was a rare moment. Peter, what do you think, mate? Should Ramsey be in this team alongside Voltemada, or maybe in the number 10 instead?
Well, it would definitely help Voltemada, I think, to have Ramsey there on the pitch. For me, if you're going to play the 4-4-2 and it's going to be Bruno and Tonali in the middle, then I would put Ramsey on the left. I know it's not orthodox. It's not maybe his best position, but I would certainly rather Ramsey than J7 on that left-hand side, because I think then, yes, definitely Voltemada would benefit. Having a ball player like Ramsey kind of like cutting in from the left-hand side and linking up. He could also, I agree, he could play the 10 as well. I think he's that kind of player where, you give him options, you give him the ball, and if he's got options around him, we're seeing how he can pick players out, and he's quite flighty, he's nippy, he's pretty fast. He's got good acceleration, and so yeah, that is actually an option. It's a good shout, that. But to be fair to Voltemada, I probably would just give him another crack at that number 10. I think we need to see what he can do. With him being out for the amount of time that he has been out for, let's give him a few games, I would say, in that number 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I was being there was times during the commentary yesterday I was being quite critical of Voltemada, and I was sitting there still thinking, like, this is the first time I've actually seen him in this role. So I feel like I'm looking at him as a striker, but he's not. And there was a lot of things I didn't like, but there were moments where I was thinking, this is a Premier League player. And then I was going, hang on, he cost 69 million. I want a bit more than that, but he's got an unusual to say.
He's got an unusual style, Michael, isn't he? He's definitely unique in that way.
He's a bit like Waddle, isn't he? He looks ungainly, but then he just suddenly does something, and wow.
No, that's
he's got moments. He's definitely got his moments, hasn't he? Said
season 2's Waldemara's going to be a different beast. You are starting to see little glimpses of
it.
Yeah. Next season, the Premier League, everyone's going to have to wear brown shorts to make up for the fact of what's going to happen when they see Waldemara on the team sheet against them, I tell you. Remember where you heard it first?
Second season syndrome.
Yeah.
I certainly hope he's right, and there's a lot of players who'll be hoping the same. Ramsey's one that will want to have a lot more minutes. Probably been one of the better players alongside Chow. Obviously, you're looking at Wissa and Alanga as two players who, let's be honest, aren't really getting the minutes and haven't really been putting in the performances. And Alanga probably would have expected to get a little bit of game time against his old club. With Howe's talking about getting there for the future, these next 3 games, let's be honest, there isn't much 3 games. Next 2 games, there isn't much to play for at all. Is it one of those where, let's be honest, we're probably not going to be able to sell Alanga for anywhere near where we got him, which means he's very likely to say, should he be actually playing in the squad instead of Jacob Murphy in those kind of situations to try and embed him a little bit more into next season, or do you think he's going to be one that we try and ship off? What do you think, Win? Was yesterday a final straw for Alanga?
I don't know about the final straw for Alanga, but I think it virtually puts paid to any lingering hopes of Europe.
Yes.
So the 2 games to come, we've literally got nothing to play for but pride. So, yeah, experiment away for me for the next 2 games.
Yeah, actually, Peter, what would you say? Is it experiment away, or I'm looking at the table and I'm seeing Sunderland are 2 points ahead. Does it matter enough to finish above Sunderland in the table, or is it embarrassing regardless? So let's experiment. What do you think?
We've got to try and get above them, but for me with Elanga, I've wrote him off personally, but that. Funny, football being football, it's a funny game, and I'm not gonna.
It's a funny old game.
It certainly is, So I'm not gonna, rule out maybe he'll come good, but I don't see it. Sitting here now, I just think he has been one of the worst signings I've ever seen for Newcastle, and but yeah, in terms of the other option, you've got Murphy, who's not going to be a long-term player, and whose time is up as well, probably. So. Maybe we've said it before. Asula, I know he's doing well up front. Could he not maybe do the right wing position? I don't know, but
I would love to see Asula tried on the right.
Just going back as well, Michael. You mentioned Ramsey getting more game time as well.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a big kind of dilemma next season, because I think Eddie has got to get his head around the idea of not playing J7 as much, because that will then allow Ramsey to come in and. It's crunch time, innit? Obviously, if they're going to stick with Eddie, he's going to have to, I think, be ruthless that way.
Yeah, he's going to have to be ruthless. Said he was with players yesterday, but we have our second part of the show. Chris joining us. Iain's in there as well. How's it going, boys?
Doing good. The Eddie Howe out debate continues, and the boos start happening, especially from Wayne and the whole lot. But we shall continue this conversation, of course. Which, by the way, we got the great one has come back, ladies and gents.
Whoa!
The great one has come back, and the boy from Qatar is here. Listen, if you thought he was gonna appear in any other channel before this one, you were knackered.
We are knackered. Proves that we're wangers.
So he is definitely here, ladies and gents, to give his take on the situation. Right. So I guess Peter, Michael, Christina is going already. Thank you very much for doing the early night show, and the late night show, ladies and gents, starts now. Thank you very much, fellas.
Set up for maximum confrontation and super opinionated debates. The NUFC Late Night Show with Chris the American Man, Derek the Matey Wednesday, and the rest of the panel, Monday through Thursday from 9:30 p.m. UK and UFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army.
The voice of the Toon Army, ladies and gents. Don't forget to smash that like button, help the channel grow. We are back after usual weekend with Newcastle United. Usual weekend. And Roy has forgotten how to do this, so he's just messing around with it.
I know. We've only won one game since I've turned up 3 months ago.
I know, man. You
I
left.
haven't missed anything, have I?
Well, man. Come on. Hey, by the way.
We got 4 points. Come on. We got 4 points in 3 months. Happy days, man. Happy days.
He's on one tonight, Roy.
Happy days.
He is on one tonight. Roy is in the house, ladies and gents. He is in the building. He's gonna give us his take, of course, on what's going around. What are you doing, man? You clapping? You having a tea? Is it tea time over there?
I'm doing a cup of soup.
Oh, come on, man. Wait, what is that? You say soup?
Yeah, it's a tomato cup of soup.
Soup in a coffee cup.
That's one habit I got from Tesco that I can't get rid of.
I mean, that was shambolic.
What are you doing, man? Soup in a cup, in a coffee cup is criminal, man. No.
Tomato soup.
No, you put it on a soup bowl, man.
It's all chemicals, but it's all right, like.
You put it on a soup bowl, man. You don't put it on a coffee cup. That's just for coffee, man. Lord have mercy. Right. Don't forget to smash that like button, folks. Help the channel out. Super chat right away and help the channel that way, of course, if you can. If it's not the time, just give us that thumbs up, of course. And yeah, become a member, give memberships away. Definitely let us know what you think in the comment section below. We'll be gathering your comments throughout. And at the end of the show, we'll bring them up, of course, to have a good old reaction to those comments. Right. We are here after what's my take on the game? Some people were asking my take on the game. Nothing. I mean, there's no take. I mean, it's just the same thing over and over. So I can't get mad. I can't get angry. This is, at some point, you just got to expect what's happening. So, it's not really, nothing has changed. My expectations of watching the games that throughout the season, I always know is going to lead us to what's led us the whole season. So, not to be negative, can't be positive. Can't win one game and all of a sudden, oh, what are you guys doing? You guys are negative. We just beat Brighton, the mighty Brighton, because we're right back to reality. I will say Newcastle are playing a tiny bit better. We're looking somewhat decent, but still poor. It's still not good enough. Now, am I going to shout? Am I going to shout? Am I going to get angry? It's pointless because there's no surprise anymore. This is Newcastle United. We need to become. We either got to accept it, or I guess be proactive in voicing our opinion if we need to about some possible change. Either manager, either players, either board, whoever is involved. That's the culprit. But that's all really we can do. We can't do nothing about it. Now there are fans that are just flowing with the waves. They just live in La La Land, in Cuckoo Land, one above Roy, in particular, who said that we can get the Champions League, and a week and a half later, we're knackered again. We
are knackered.
It's pointless, irrelevant. But I hope that week and a half, 2 weeks that you were, explaining to us that we were going to be in Europe, let's wait and see. Season is not over yet. I'm assuming you're still, I don't know if you would have the courage to say season is not over yet when we got 2 weeks left of nothing to play for. If you order to say those words, I'm assuming you're going to get a backlash from the chat, but this never stopped you before. So am I surprised? No, I can't be surprised. It is what it is. It is just what it is. We're going to play West Ham, pretty much a knackered team, Chris, and then we got another game. Go on, Iain.
I was going to say I was surprised. I shouldn't be. I should have learned by now, shouldn't I? I just
then that's a personal problem.
The better team all the way through that game. They never looked like they were going to score. We were 1-up. We were pressing again, and I thought we were going to win 1-0.
How many times have we said
it? How many games have I watched where we're ahead? And I know, but it just out of the blue. Anderson summoned some.
Inevitably.
He was cramping up 10 minutes beforehand. I don't know where he got his energy. I thought when McAtee came on that he might do something though, because I quite rate him and he doesn't get in the team very much for them. It was a really good goal that they scored.
Mm-hmm.
It's harsh blaming a knackered Bruno. But yeah, I was disappointed because I thought we were going to win 1-0. I was going to be on with win, thinking we're going to get a Conference League place with those extra 2 points. But I think that's too far gone now.
But the problem is, and we got news to talk about, by the way. There's a lot of news that we need to be talking about. I'll get to Roy. So, because Roy hasn't had his say. Roy feels attacked because the Happy Clappers, he thinks the Happy Clappers on this channel have been platformed more than he wouldn't call himself a bedwetter, but more than the realists. They call themselves the realist movement. So he's upset. He's let down by the American Mag. I didn't do anything, man. But he feels let down by win is it happens all the time. But because they've been saying this. It's been happening. Look at if you're a fan of the channel, look at the prediction board. I looked at it this morning because I gave up on it because I didn't want to win again, to make it fair, so I just jumped out. And
when you were 2 far behind,
the table is criminal, man, against or in favor of those so-called realists that you would think you know what? Money is on the line. Money is on the line. What other place to be honest with yourself, to have convictions, to be objective, and to say, you know what, I'm gonna, no matter how much of a happy clapper or a bedwetter I am, I need this money. It's my hard-earned money, so I'm gonna put the best, the most accurate answer prediction on a weekly basis that I can put. The table is overwhelmingly leaning with a bunch of those so-called bedwetters, and they call themselves the realists. I don't like labeling fans, but, you know, some of them label themselves. So even Mighty Win says he's the happy clapper in chief. Now, it's insane, Roy, that it seems, as of now, it seems, more than likely going to continue, that you've been proven right, and other people as well. So what do you got to say about the current situation of the club?
Well, first of all, shout out to Jefferson, Boaky, and the doctor. So the three of them and me, we said this months and months ago. Even when we won games, we said this happened. We addressed the issues, but the happy clappers were just happy with the win. And we won. How many times we said it? We've argued for months. I even had a debate which I lost, which is 2 years ago. Go and watch it now. I know. But go and watch it now. And
by the way, it's 2 years from now. That's telling, by the way, because we're going on the same issue.
It's criminal. And we won a cup after that, but still the mistakes were still happening. And it happened yesterday in the game. I actually predicted we were going to win yesterday because they played on Thursday and they've got 5 players injured. And when we played, Palace? Same. So we played them, they had less than 60 hours rest. And half the team was off. And then suddenly he puts on Mateta and I can't remember the other guy on. Boom, boom, game over. We can't be this bad. It's really bad. If there's it's too late to sack him now. I don't know. Are we going to sack him? 2 games left. Are they going to sit with him and talk to him in the summer? I don't know. He's going to bullshit his way out like he does in every press conference when all these, mainstream media journalists, Luke Edwards and the other one, Craig Hope. Bullshit, man. Absolute bullshit. Oops, what's happened here? Oh, okay. There's the table. There's the table. Catching up. Yeah, look at that, man.
That's the prediction tournament. By the way, which the top gets, I don't know how much money the winner gets, but 105. 105, and then so on and so on. So Jefferson looks like he'll get some money. Barnwick will get some money, which he's a happy clubber, but even he had to say, you know what, I'm not going to lose this money, so I'm just going to use my brain, and he's third. So Roy, fourth. Elias the bias, quietly there. Queenie as well. Ben, well, whose Ben is that? Ben and Levi is up top. So
that's a different Ben.
Win is adding people in so he can get a couple
Ben
quid.
the Geordie.
Ben the Geordie? Who is that? No, time out. Who's Ben the Geordie? No, wait, time out. We need to do an audit to this, man. We need to do an audit because where did Ben the Geordie come out? You know, so we need to, I don't know who that is, but that's Win's secret account. Jamie on there. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find Win knackered. You know what I mean? So
it's got Newcastle to win every single game.
PDK, you know what I mean? PDK all knackered. So
nice.
You know,
sitting nicely in 12th.
Yeah, but you're knackered, man. You know. So I'm just saying, it's telling that for a long time. Why can't you give the other man? You know what? You were right, mate. I was wrong. I was a bit optimistic. I try to just cope a little bit. But you were right. I was wrong. Why can't you do that? Because you clearly, when you look at that table, it's telling. Is it not?
It's absolutely telling. Yeah, we've had a shocking season.
So why don't you give Roy an apology, Jefferson an apology,
because it's not
Dr. Doom an apology.
You know, let's not start again. Because it's not all down to Eddie Howe.
It is.
No, but that's irrelevant though, because you have mentioned that this has been a decent season, and we're going to win in Europe. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But we're not.
No, what I've always said is wait and see. And what I said
we're seeing now.
And what I said at the start of the season was, if we don't get Europe, then Eddie's job should be looked at. Absolutely.
All right.
Iain,
go on, Roy.
The small one. We dropped 27 points from winning positions.
Correct.
That's got nothing to do with PSR. That's got nothing to do with cartel. It's got nothing to do with twats like me who are negative. It's got nothing to do with anything except A man who's coaching a team 1-0 up and doesn't know what to do with the ball in the second half. Sitting back, doing sideways passes, and suddenly you can see the goal. And that's happened 27. What's that? 7 games, 21, 8 games.
Roy,
8 games we've lost.
Roy, let me
That's
ask you
down
something.
to him.
Yeah, but how did we get into that position in the first place?
Because he's got the players, but he hasn't got the management. That's what it is. He's the players.
Was it not his management that got us into those positions?
1-0, Roy.
No, because the PIF gave him 700 million. So
overall,
all it is now, you know what it is?
Again,
we're playing Bruce football. We're playing Bruce football now, but expensive Bruce football. So all it is expensive Bruce football. It's rubbish to watch, except in some parts of some games, and you see no discipline in the team at all, and defensively is bad. We've had 1 clean sheet in 22 games. 1.
Yeah.
2 derbies we've lost. He should have been sacked after the first derby.
But let me ask you though, and Iain, we're gonna interject, but here's the thing: it looks like he's staying. So, is the repetitive Eddie Howe out conversation not irrelevant, or because it looks like he's gonna stay? I don't think if this continues, he won't stay for long next season, no matter how you want to sugarcoat it. So, I mean, is it not irrelevant? Is it not irrelevant to just keep on Eddie Howe as the problem? I mean, because he can't be the 100% of the problems, or can he?
It's not 100%. 89%.
89%.
89.5%.
A few weeks ago, PIF have set their infrastructure up. PIF have set the infrastructure up to look for players to fit into an Eddie Howe team this summer. And it makes absolutely no sense. You throw away all that work if you've got a different manager than Eddie Howe to build the team. And I think that's probably motivating PIF to keep him. But I don't know. I mean, I think they will look at it at the end of the season. They might start talking to some fans groups and find out, and they may well not keep him. But I think it's going to be extreme circumstances for them to get rid, because they're effectively chucking out a lot of the work that all the scouts and that pyramid of scouts around the world have filtered reports and analysis through for Wilson to have his lists. He's got lists for whether we qualify for Europe or not qualify for Europe. I'm presuming that's a replacement for each of the first team squad. He's got 5 or 6 to buy already. And if Gordon goes and Livramento goes and Toon Army goes, he's got 3 more to get. But they're all going to be Eddie Howe players. And that might not be dreadful next year if he's got better quality athletes with 1 game a week, because that's how he's qualified for the Champions League twice. It's the following year that that would have some massive questions to answer. But for me, I'm not joining in Eddie Howe out. I've got my own views about what I would do. I just don't think it's relevant for us to have an opinion just yet.
On what?
It's
whether you want Eddie out or Eddie in, because Eddie's in, isn't he?
Nah.
He's there.
No, that's fine, but you can have an opinion. No. You can have an opinion, though. You can say, I don't want him in.
No, I have an opinion. I have an opinion. I think he's made too many mistakes. I don't think his in-game management is up to scratch. There's some serious issues demonstrated by losing 27 points from winning positions. And that's all down to his in-game management. I don't know what his half-time team talks are like, but they've really dropped off a cliff in the last month or two.
No,
I would change. I would change the manager, but I don't think
we can't change exactly.
They've got a tripod of infrastructure, and Eddie Howe is key to it.
I agree. I mean, we can't
absolutely have to.
We can't force them out, but we can't be censored either. If we think that way, we think that way. However, I want to amplify the conversation a little bit, because now I'm starting to see. I feel like there's a rupture now between one of his, what he would label one of his best players, Gordon, and there's clearly a rupture there. I mean, there's clearly now they're not on the same page. No doubt about that. They're not on the same page. And it is telling because I don't think Eddie Howe that's ever happened to Eddie Howe. Maybe a decision that he made that he's like, okay, this guy's not for the team no more. So I'm going to get him out. I don't know how relevant it would have been if he was active in these last games, to be honest, because I think he's, as petulant as he is, and as the bad performances that he has had throughout the last year and a half or more. I know when he worships him, but it's not real life. He has been picked no matter what. So I guess that final drop was, that he saw he's checked out, and Eddie Howe maybe is like, I put so much trust in you, and I've gotten so many pelters for putting you in, and then you've checked out, you're not bothered, blah blah blah, and I think that just speaks of the situation with on the locker room that is beyond let's try to do it again next season, because the players don't believe in him now. What's going to change next season unless we sign some incredible amount of players, which I don't foresee it happening either. So that's the thing. What do you guys make of the Gordon thing? Because I don't you guys agree that it's done? I mean,
I think they're protecting their investment.
Come on,
I think he's gone.
The last thing they want is for him to play a game.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah,
you serious would think that?
I do.
There's no better shop window than put him on the window, literally. You don't just stop playing. This is football, man. But see, that's why you get into the situation where we get the Elder Association of the United Kingdom and Great Britain and the little islands around to call us and tell us that we abuse you when it's rubbish, man. Because you come over here and talk about this is football, and you want to put some random excuse that he's saving them because he doesn't want them to get hurt. No, nobody believes. Iain, you don't. I know, Iain. You get into that. You don't believe that, man. Come on, man.
I don't believe that. No. I could see how using every excuse under the sun, because if he thinks he's checked out, he doesn't want to pick him. That's fair enough. If Gordon's not here next year, there's no point playing him. But just be honest about it. Let's say they've met up. Looks like he's going to Bayern Munich. I'm going to get a good price for him. But I mean, you can't protect him by not playing if Bayern Munich don't buy him as soon as the season closes, because he's got a whole World Cup to get through. What if he gets crocked in the World Cup? Are we still not going to play him and not sell him? No.
When you don't believe that, man. Come on.
I think Howe is a stubborn bugger, though, isn't he? What happened to Lewis Hall in those last 2 or 3 games?
I think.
Why is he playing right back? Why drop England's left back to play England's centre half at left back?
Don't get Roy started
on the bench.
The
other England right back on the bench.
Roy started.
I just don't get.
That's plan B.
I don't get why we play players out of position when we've got players that have the play in that position.
Come on, man. You certainly don't buy. What manager in their life would stop playing a player because they want to save him?
With this one, I feel sorry for Eddie, because I think Gordon is about one thing only, and it's Gordon. He doesn't care about Newcastle. He doesn't give a shit about the fans or anything. And for me, we actually won the cup when he wasn't playing. And it was one of our best games in the last 5-6 years, and he wasn't even on. We had that nice run with Barnes on the left. He comes back, he gets the game, shit results. I want him gone. So he must have, theory, nobody knows. I think he went to Howe and said, I'm going to Bayern, it's done deal, all this. Howe must know that anyway, he's not telling us. I don't want to get injured before I join them, and I don't want to get injured before I go to the World Cup, and season's done. And he doesn't want to play. And Eddie's just keeping him on the bench just to keep the fans happy. But don't give me tactics.
I don't see how keeping him on the bench is keeping the fans happy. I think he's sending a message to the squad as well. You're either with us 100%, or you don't.
Yeah, but if he wants to do that, he can shove him and don't pick him. Tell him to stay back home and don't come.
But I think he just doesn't want the drama. I mean, he knows why he's done it. He doesn't want the drama surrounding. Although fans are not idiots, they know what's going on.
Yeah, everyone knows now.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. I mean, it looks like transfer news on Next is saying that Bayern Munich are set to submit a 70 million euro bid for Gordon this summer, preferably structured in installments. However, negotiations could prove difficult if Newcastle insist on their higher asking price or reject installment payments. Listen, you're not gonna give him you're not gonna get nowhere near 80 million pounds for him. So
70, 65, get rid. Just get rid.
I mean,
I think you should go cherry pick a nice player out of the Bayern Munich squad as part of the deal.
Well, I agree with that because they can play.
A lot of players to get.
Yeah, but
okay, Leroy's. I would take Leroy Sané. Oh my God, in a heartbeat.
Easy. And Diaz, who used to play for Liverpool, plays on the left wing, and on the right they've got Olise. He won't get a game unless he's going to play him up front.
Yeah,
I don't think the Bayern Munich coach is that daft.
And by the way, Gordon would go to Bayern Munich. See, that's why when people say, like Vlahovic, he had a problem with the manager. I think it was Allegri at the time. So why would we want to get him if he has a problem with his coach? Well, he's got a problem over there. So people say, why would Bayern want him if he's petulant, if he's all this? Well, he's going over there to a new world because Bayern Munich is unfortunately not Newcastle United because we're not there yet. He's going to go over there and be humble, right? So he's going to be the new guy. He's going to go over here. He thinks he's Alan Shearer. He's nowhere near that. So it's a whole different thing. It's a new club. He's going to figure it out. He's going to live his life, whatever. So he's never going to not be petulant, but he's not going to go over there to Bayern Munich and try to run things. It's not going to happen. So look, big club wants him. I think we need to get rid. And that's that. But it just proves right now that even the loyalist players that were picked over and over by Eddie Howe, at this point when the ship's sinking, all it's proven is that everybody starts swimming their own ways. And that's just the bottom line. Yep. No matter what you say, Win, it's irrelevant. Sentimentality for the birds, man. Everybody's after their own stock around here. You know what I mean?
Thing is right, with Gordon,
it's just a scapegoat.
But
no, he's not, man.
With you know what it is with Gordon though? If you look at all the games he's played, it's not made any impact much. There's nothing. He had like 2 assists all season in the league. 2.
But no, hold on, hold on. Wayne will explain to you what he does right. Go on, Wayne.
Well, does he cut in and shoot? Well, he's had 3 goals.
Wayne will explain.
He leads the we play best, and we get the lead when we're playing pressing football, and Anthony Gordon leads that press.
Well, he leads the team in 13th place. With 13th.
Correct.
This is good.
Well, that's what it means. Is shit. The players.
And by the way,
I don't have the Bournemouth wingers or the Crystal Palace wingers, and I don't know how many teams are above us. 12. Any of their left wingers will do. They do a better job. I want a winger who can score and cross and get assists. 2 assists, man. 2. I'll have more assists. I'm not kidding. I'll have some Red Bull and I'll go on the pitch for 10 minutes. I might get an assist. Have you seen those shots he had against Sunderland from inside the box? I'm telling you.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I've also seen the shots he's outside the box against Man City.
It's almost as bad as the Qatari League, man. Those shots, Qatari League,
and now, here's the thing with Nice. Roy, you were saying he only had 2 assists. Barnes had 0, but the problem is how many times Barnes has never gotten the opportunities that Gordon. Barnes has never gotten the opportunities, and once again, he did something to win the game. How many times has Barnes done something to win the game, and of course the team bottles it? Plenty.
Off the bench.
Plenty. So it doesn't matter. He's doing it as a footballer. His talents don't diminish because he comes from the bench or starting 11 man. I don't know.
Was it November or October?
He rarely scores when he starts.
No.
Because he doesn't start.
Not true.
It's that simple.
October, November, he was I can't remember which month. It was either October or November. He was nominated for Player of the Month, Premier League Player of the Month. And he scored loads and he was having a good game. It It was a good month. That was our Newcastle's good month. Gordon suspended. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, he scored the two against. He scored both goals to beat City, didn't he?
Yep. Oh, there you go. There's one.
That's why he was in.
Shout out to Mercury down there.
Gordon comes back.
I'm not sure which old fella he means.
You, because you're the only one in there. But thank you very much, Mercury Dime, getting the old man out.
Oh,
Somebody put him back
me
in.
out of jail. Thank you, Mercury Dime. Yeah, cheers. Bro.
Somebody put him back in because the links that you will go to defend certain things, like he doesn't play him because he wants to keep him safe.
The lens I'll go to, not to just jump on a bandwagon.
No, it's not the but you have to use literally common sense. Yeah. What manager?
Thank you.
What manager that wants to sell a player that's a good quality player won't like play him? Like what manager? Unless it's I don't know. Like
sell him. We're talking about Gordon here, I take it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You say that he won't play him.
Are you saying Eddie Howe wants to sell Gordon?
You say he's going to have to.
I don't think Eddie wants to sell him.
Exactly.
I think Gordon wants to go. Yeah, but he fits into Eddie's run and battle and stuff. Well,
yeah,
I can't.
Exactly.
Eddie, but shit.
Which
football.
gave me the best season I've ever watched.
Yeah. Well, Gordon wasn't in that season. He was half a season.
He wasn't even playing half of that season.
Exactly, man. That's what I'm saying, dude. You say something.
Final, he wasn't there. He jumped
22, 20. Exactly.
That wasn't my best season, Roy.
You said 20. No, he didn't play the Man United final. He didn't play the Man United final. He couldn't. The 22, 23 season that you label as the greatest, that you label the greatest ever. By your
relegation to Champions League, yeah.
He didn't play because he couldn't. He was cup tied, number one.
22-23 was Maxi on the left.
And he wasn't written. No, Maxi was out, I think. Oh no, Maxi was there.
No, Maxi was still there. Started the season and before Gordon in January.
Yeah, but Gordon was on and off. He wasn't a pillar of that team, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, the best game I've seen that season was against City.
And his best season was the following season.
And then you've never seen a season like that from Gordon ever again.
Correct.
After that 23, 24, that's it. That's it. You've never seen him in 24, 25, 26, 27. We shall see if he stays. But you haven't seen it.
23, 24 shows you what he's capable of.
Yeah, but I mean, how long are you going to be waiting? I mean, it's football moves, man. So I don't know. I don't know if I would hang on.
Some people have more
patience. And especially if he wants to leave. He doesn't want to stay. He doesn't like you win.
I've said about any player, if they want to leave, bye-bye.
Yeah, you say that about others first. Yeah, he wants to leave. He doesn't like you anymore, Win.
He doesn't.
Well, that's fine.
He wants to leave.
So stop crying over him.
I'm not crying over him at all. I'm saying get rid, get 70 million for him.
I'm just saying it's
same with any player who doesn't want to be here.
It's a telling.
You could say though.
Yeah. Going in.
You've got to say for Gordon, if Gordon, assuming that he's going to get picked in the England squad, but he played for the last 5 or 6 games of the season when other left wingers might emerge. You know, Eze might do something in these last few games, which means that he's first choice. I think it'd be hilarious if he doesn't go.
I still think.
Well, I don't because it would lower his value.
He's been injured, then he's not getting paid.
Yeah, but there's not many wingers in England. There's Rashford, who's having a great season.
Well, I think Rashford's in front of Gordon, personally, for the England.
Yeah, I think he's much better than Gordon. And then Saka on the right. And he's not going to play up front.
Yeah. No,
I think there's Eze will do a good job on the left.
Eze has had a great season, by the way. Eze has had a great season. So, it looks like Newcastle United close to agreeing a new long-term contract with Lewis Miley to avoid another Elliot Anderson situation, who knackered us this weekend. The Magpies are determined. Isn't that crazy how the myth about the old player that scores against the former team? It happens all the time, man. It's insane. It's insane. So it looks like Newcastle are determined to keep a hold of the Academy star after being forced to sell Anderson in 24 for PSR pressure. Miley is expected to receive a significant pay rise, with both sides keen to get the deal done before preseason, according to The Sun. I mean, this is a no-brainer.
I wonder if Miley is asking if he can play in midfield, or if he's happy to be converted into a bloody right back, or
he
what's
wants to
next?
be a midfielder.
Maybe he'll get to play in goal for the last game of the season if Pope drops a clanger against West Ham. I mean, he's the jack of all trades, isn't he? Except he's a really good midfield player.
He's wasted on the right.
I'm hoping Ramsey gets picked ahead of J7 for the last 2 games, but actually Miley's a better midfielder than Ramsey is.
Mm-hmm.
And Miley, of course, fabulous number 10.
Just reminding you that Lewis Miley is knackered. Waza's in the house as well. Welcome, Waza. With the super chat there, it says, "Win the only season ticket holder first had expert." I'm not sure what you said there, but I think that might be. But he ain't no expert. So he's an expert at napping in the stadium. That's about it. And eating the cheeseburgers, at halftime. And but he's knackered. His leg is broken. So he only came back for like a few games. I think 1 game, and then he's going back into the woodshed. And it's I'm telling you, man, people underestimate the complexity and the difficulties that Newcastle United are about to have this summer window. I mean, it is literally going to be mayhem because trying to keep the players not leaving if they're already convinced the project is done, bring in the players we need to bring in, selling some players, but we need a lot of players to bring in without anybody leaving. So imagine if other players are trying to leave.
I hope that they've got all of that lined up way before the window opens.
Well, there's a few options that have been rumored.
I think the window is going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be exciting for the channel, but not for Newcastle. I'm telling you.
I'm terrified. Me
on top of the 3 or 4 big players that'll get pinched, and the 4 or 5 first team squad that are out of contract. You then have Murphy, Willock, Barnes with just 1 year left on their contract. So they really ought to get sold and replaced, unless you're going to extend their contract. So there's a ton of stuff to do. Both goalkeepers. We need 2 goalies, really, don't we?
We must sell Murphy.
Yeah,
and Willock. We must sell Willock. Anything, 10 million, 15 million, anything. Just get the money in.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to get rid.
Squad at all.
Sometimes
I'm just worried about. You know what it is? Out of our whole squad, the only player I'm worried about is Toon Army. Anyone else leaves, no problem. If Bruno leaves, we'll give him a big thank you message, and he can go. He's been here 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. He's done his job. He's 29. He might get his last chance to play for a Champions League team and go. But if Toon Army goes, that's the big sucker punch.
Yep, I agree.
That lad can play Real Madrid, PSG, City, Arsenal, even Man U are back, kind of.
And the
so
thing,
he can fit in any of those.
I agree with that 100%. And the thing about it is as well that you can tell Bruno this weekend he was trying, poor guy, but it's not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough. So a man can only hold so much weight, man. He might say, what the hell am I doing here?
He had a donkey on his left, which is Joe Linton, who's got a worse touch. He's like a rhino, man. He's a rhino. He's not a footballer. He's a rhino. I'll tell you what it is with the Joe Linton. If we play teams that are stronger than us, play him. If you're playing teams on our level or weaker, don't play him, because we need to keep the ball and play football. And this guy, it's just is a bully. If he wasn't playing for another team, we'll hate him. He's just a bully.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's useful to be in a team, but not like maybe
against stronger teams. Yeah, like against Arsenal, the Cities, and them, fine. But when you play a weaker team, yeah, you just go and finish them off, man. Just don't play him. Play Ramsey or even Willock over him. Man. Had him on the left wing yesterday. Him on the left and Lewis Hall on the right. Oh, God.
Geordie 997 thinks you're off your head, Roy. We can replace any player, but not Bruno, and I agree with him. Not
Yeah,
the
but Bruno's
heat
30.
bit, but
Bruno's
for me,
30 next season.
Bruno is the one player we would be destroyed if we lost him.
We were rubbish with him. We're rubbish without him.
We
were still rubbish last weekend. It's
we're a lot
pointless,
better with him.
man. No,
we are better with him, but
the thing is,
well, of course we're better with him, but it's not like the end of the
the thing is, though, as I've said before, if Bruno is the Grand National winner, and we want to keep the Grand National winner happy, Joe Linton is the mascot goat that has to travel everywhere with the Grand National winner to keep the Grand National winner happy. I don't think you get rid of Joe Linton, you'd really piss Bruno off, and he'd go as well.
Well, if that's the case, then if that's the case, then
keep him on the bench.
We'll find. No. I'm sorry, but if that's the case, we need that. Then we find out Bruno's true colors. Because what professional does that? It's insane that. You know what I mean? I mean, only win would allow that.
Sign another Brazilian. Another Brazilian. And get rid of Joe Linton.
Well, Paqueta's his big mate.
Thing is, how long are we going to have Bruno for? Next year he's 30. The year after he's 31. He's not going to get any faster. He's already not pacey anyway. So sometimes, guys, we just have to bite the bullet and think, you know what? Otherwise, you're going to end up with a Trippier. Look at him. We love him, but his legs are gone, and he's just there wasting money and wages.
I don't think we need to. I don't think Joe Linton should be in the conversation to be sold. I think.
No, I wouldn't sell him, but
he needs to be in the conversation not to play every game.
Use him in the right games. Use him in the right games.
Yeah.
Use him in 12 games. Definitely 12 games against the top 6. And then use him second half games when you 1-0 up and you don't want to concede in the second half. You can bring him on to help out. Well, don't get me started with those 27 points.
Bruno needs to stay. Tonali needs to 100% stay. Guatemala needs to 100% stay. We need to keep a good core of the players, and then Gordon get ready. That's fine. No big deal.
Guatemala though, with Howe or without Howe, because with Eddie.
Well, either no matter what, I had to choose to keep him. I'm gonna be selfish as a fan. I'm gonna just tell him, look, screw your career. He's not gonna play you ever. But I want you on Newcastle United, no matter, because at some point it's going to change, whether we like it or not. Yeah. I think that if Newcastle United don't wake up, give their heads a shake, and decide that Baltimore needs to play up front, then we're not going to do good. That's just that simple. We're not going to do good. Midfield is not going to cut it. Center back, like Wayne wanted them this season, is not going to cut it. So, it's just not going to do it. He needs to be up front.
Center back.
He's the
weakest physical specimen we've ever had up.
Hey, Sandro is barking, by the way.
Giving a bark in the back.
No, Sandro.
That's Sandro.
Sandro's in the house.
He should be sleeping now. Well, next season, this is going to be the only Sandro left. It's going to be the only Sandro left next season.
I think Sandro will still be here next season.
I hope so.
I think you're right. Hopefully so. The thing is, we need to limit the damage. We got to do damage control of players trying to leave. Livramento seems like that's done and dusted as well. So
I think he's going to stay because he's injured.
Sure, that a lot of people want to come for Livramento. By the way, this notion that Livramento is this Cafu, I don't know who came up with that. He's not really. He's a good, talented player. And that's that.
He needs a good full season to prove himself, but
the thing is, he doesn't stop getting hurt, and that's a reoccurring thing. By the way, it's not a fluke. So I don't know. That may be something to take a look at. It looks like, by the way,
get away with Livramento.
Yeah,
Livramento's a better left back than he's a right back.
Maybe that's why Eddie tried Lewis Hall on the right, because we thought, it works the other way around with the Tino. It might work with Hall. Just a theory. Because nobody knows what goes inside Eddie's head.
Hall played well at right back, but I don't think...
Tino
played well at left back. I've got something that would save Eddie for you. And I think this is the only way to save Eddie.
Tell him to play players in the correct position.
No. Get rid of Jason Tyndall and everybody else you've got in the backroom staff and bring some proper team. And you stay as the manager motivator.
That's a bit like Chris but like you, or Iain, sorry, saying Bruno would throw his toys out the pram if he got rid of Joey Linton. I think Eddie would throw his toys out the pram if he got rid of Jason Tindall.
Well, that's more realistic
than
the other one.
Going to happen.
That's more realistic than the other one. And that conversation right there is unproductive. Is at this point the Eddie Howe thing because he's gonna stay, because Eddie Howe will never get rid of his friend. He's gonna say, I can't get rid of him, man. He just opened up a pub. They're trying to new wines. You know what I mean? They
can I stop?
They're banning fans in Newcastle shirts.
Wynn's ex-wife likes it. You know what I mean? We can't close it down, so we need to keep him on the job. So this is not going to happen. So you just gotta sack him if you want to sack. What's his name?
Yeah, but what if Tindall gets offered a job as a first-team coach or manager at another club, and he might say, "You know what? Let me try. I want to be number one instead of number two."
Well, he has tried it, of course, which is very Sula.
So maybe he does that. This could be. I think this is Eddie's probably only chance. And then I might think, you know what? Pep's done it. Fergie's done. Loads of coaches do it. Every 3-4 years, things start going awkward, and then they change the coach. Can you hear me? We can't hear you.
Yeah. No, I was just telling Owen to wake up because he's falling asleep. Come on, man. This dude, man. He's against the ropes, I feel bad for him. You know what I mean? We feel bad.
Listen, I'm not against the ropes.
You couldn't have been more wrong in this.
And collected.
You couldn't have been more wrong in one season if you paid for
wrong.
it.
People get wrong. Show me.
No, but you've
and I'll show you somebody who's done nothing.
You've tried. It looks like you've tried to be wrong this season, man, because it is absolutely criminal.
I wish they let him go.
Small margins.
Yeah.
I wish they let him go just after Barca. And after the second derby game, and we had that run. We had a couple of weeks off, and then we had that nice run. Things could have been completely different now. Even if we won 3 games out of those worse. 6. Well, we only got 4 points. It's not a lot worse. It can't be a lot worse. It would have been. No. It can't be a lot worse, but it just went worse.
Look back at those 3-2 defeats at home to Everton, to Brentford.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Palace as well.
Looking back, unfortunately,
2020 hindsight, a wonderful.
No, it ain't no 2020 hindsight. It was the other hindsight because we saw it before it happened, but nobody did anything about it. It just is what it is. Wynn is throwing the white flag, says Niall Powell. There you go. Wynn not good. Why has Roy got the sod from Silence of the Lambs? Which that's a movie that's recorded a lot, and I don't think I've ever watched it.
It's from 92, I think. 93.
So, yeah.
Clarice.
Now, there is a player that looks like he's been linked with Luis Suarez, and it looks like we're about to beat Liverpool for him, Colombian guy. I guess that's another one. We've been linked with, it looks like Scout Steve Nixon has identified Yan Diomande is a marquee signing for the summer transfer window. Marquee signing? Lord have mercy. Come on.
Don't believe anything in the papers.
Yeah, but marquee signing, even if it was true. A marquee signing to me would be this next one, but the source is a bit weird. Well, no, he works at Diario Oz and The Build, ESPN, BBC. No, yeah, so I guess he's good. Ferran Torres could leave Barcelona this summer. AC Milan and Aston Villa and Newcastle all eyeing a deal for the versatile forward. That would be a good one. But the gut punch, ladies and gents, is... by the way, I will have to leave early because my son River is graduating from kindergarten. So, congratulating River. Come on, man. Come on, everybody. He's 6, man. He's 6. I can't believe it. Graduating kindergarten, man. We're in America, man. We do the right way. We do it the right way. But one that was a gut punch, or is a gut punch, is Chelsea exploring a deal to appoint Xabi Alonso as the next head coach. The 44-year-old former Real Madrid boss understood to be open to the possibility, although nothing decided yet. This process continues. Andoni Areola, also a strong contender. ahead of the departed. So, lads, what do you think? I mean, that's a gut punch, man. Come on. I just don't get it, man.
What a gut punch in that it means we wouldn't get Alonso in the event of getting rid of Eddie.
Yeah, that means that if for example Alonso was available, that it almost invites you to make that proactive change. But
we should bend over backwards to get him.
We're going to trust the process and just let a manager go. I don't know.
I'd rather have Fabregas. I mean, I would rather have Glasner, but
what? You would rather have Glasner over Alonso?
Yep.
What the
heck? I wouldn't mind any of them. I just want Eddie out.
Get away.
No, but you got to give us.
I wasn't aware of that, right?
You got to give a solution, though. You got to give a solution, man. Because somebody's got to come in.
I like all three, really. And I like Areola as well. And, what's his name? He used to be Chelsea manager. He just been sacked.
Maresca.
Yes, that's him. Yep, Maresca. So those five.
I think Maresca would be a good shout.
Yeah, I like his football. At least be exciting to watch. I mean, Chelsea. Look at them before they were high up at the table. They got rid of him, and look at them. Their form is just as bad as ours.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what happens when you change managers.
A tune out of Chelsea.
Yeah.
And what happens when you don't change managers, for example?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Man, you better grab that dog and throw him to the wall.
What's we doing?
But no, I mean, what is the stat? What is the stat when you don't change a manager? When something's going wrong, what happens?
Sometimes it takes a little while. You know, you have your ups and downs, and then you look.
Let me guess. You're gonna bring Arteta in the situation.
Yeah, who all the Arsenal fans wanted out, and
really so.
Bit of patience and gets things done his way, and eventually, that's where you.
Another guy that was linked was Jayden Anthony. His plans intensified to find a replacement for Anthony Gordon. Burnley guy. Replacing it. As much as I don't rate Gordon, come on, man. Replacement a Burnley guy. I mean, I think that we're taking the P now, man. Come on. Iain, come on, man.
Come on. That's what we think. Jay Nancy,
if we're going to look at relegated teams to buy players from, I think Burnley would be the last one of them that I'd be looking at.
The only one I like there is Dubravka.
Young lad
exactly, yeah. I would have Dubravka back in a
heartbeat. I wouldn't touch any of them. Yeah. I mean, they gave us a hard game. Which one was 3-2? Can't remember. One of them was 3-2, wasn't it?
3-1, one of them was.
We won 2-1 at home, and then we won 3-1 at their place.
3-1 away with the last minute.
I don't know how.
It was the 2-1 at home, then that was a dodgy one. We scraped it. Yeah, it was the home one, I think.
Yeah.
But a couple, I can't remember any of the players, though.
The Ferran Torres, who's been linked many times before, I would have loved to have him. Had a great season in Barcelona, but maybe some things just run their course. Would be great to have him in.
Well,
yeah, he's good.
If we're going to get 40 million, if we could get a quality centre forward, I would definitely think about that and getting. If we can get 40 million for Asula, who's standing us coppers on the books now, then would be getting a quality set, an 80-90 million pound centre forward for effectively, I don't know, 40 million. So I'd definitely be looking for that.
I wouldn't get rid of Asula.
But I still haven't given up on Wissa coming good.
Yeah, well, Wissa's the one. We'll either keep him or you'll have to sell him, but you're not going to get much. You probably get 15, 20 million, man. So you might as well keep him. So I think the biggest victim is going to be Voltemada. He's the one who's going to go if Eddie stays. Because Eddie's not going to play him, really. Doesn't suit him.
I'd be surprised if any top English Premier League teams came in for him.
Well, no one's going to pay the 70 million. So if he goes, he'll probably go for 40, 35, 40 now. So all our investments.
Yeah, but that's the fault. That's not Waldemar's fault.
It's not his fault.
See, Red Light's just listed our shopping list for the summer. We need 2 shabby keepers, a bollocked old knackered defence, and a piss poor forward line. But that's what we got last summer. So hopefully that's not this summer as well.
Yeah, we need to get rid of the. Well, we actually got that Greek keeper who's playing in Spain, and he's been voted I think he was nominated one of the top 2 or 3 goalkeepers in Spain. But we're playing Pope and Ramsdale, and then Dubravka leaves, and then the Forest keeper yesterday. See him? We actually had him. I think Rafa bought him, didn't he?
But he was rubbish when he was here.
Hey, listen, I gotta leave because I gotta get ready for the party. But cheers, thank you very much. Smash that like button. The lads will continue to have that conversation. But Roy, come on, man, don't let me down, man. Don't let these two. Don't let this do. You and Sandro, you got this, all right? You guys got this.
I have the happy clappers in my back pocket, man. Happy clapper.
You got no chance of getting an apology off me. I've got nothing to apologise for.
I'm not bothered, mate, because all you have to do is just look at the table. 13th. Shit.
Yeah. Poor. Without a doubt.
Let's hope we win the next 2, and then just for the money-wise, really, just because we're going to get 3 million for each spot. So might as well win. If we win those 2 games, we might end up 10th or 9th. And it might make a difference in 10
You're in Europe at 10th or 9th, I think, Roy. I think
that's looking more difficult now because it looks as though Villa are going to finish top 5. So
yeah, Villa finished top 5.
Villa
need to qualify.
Villa finish in the top 5 and win the Europa League, then that shoots it down a slot, doesn't it?
No, because what happens then is the Champions League place from the Europa winners goes to a different country, to the next highest. Country. They need to be if we're outside the top 5 and won the Europa, then we'll get 6 teams in. But now, the big hope we had originally was for Liverpool and Villa to win, respectively, the Champions League and the Europa League, and for them both to finish outside the top 5, which was looking good at the time because that's when Chelsea were above them. Man United, Arsenal, etc., etc., etc. When Liverpool got beat, that immediately knocked one out the running. And then Chelsea have just dropped like a stone since they got rid of Maresca, since that Rosina came in, and they've dropped like a stone. And so the 7th place is away the journey now. So that's that one. Fortunately, Palace have won.
If we won yesterday, we would have
really
had a
needed
small
Palace
chance
to win and be in one of the Conference League qualifying places, and they've dropped as well.
Yeah.
So we're down to kind of 8th now, at the most.
Yeah, you know what it is though. We don't deserve to play in Europe next season.
We don't. I'd quite like to finish in the top half, though.
Yeah,
and then what we'll have is the situation, which is, the plumber's nightmare, which is back to 1 game a week. Eddie works his miracles on 1 game a week, and we'll qualify for the Champions League again.
Yeah, but then it's back to the same.
Then the argument is how can you sack a manager who's qualified for the Champions League 3 times out of 5? But the 3 times out of 5 that he'll have qualified for the Champions League is when we've had 2 games a week. Now you can argue that in the past.
Go
on.
I was going to say, 2 games a week is doable. If you're a pressing team, Liverpool did it when Klopp was there. It's because Howe only has, I mean, I know he's got a squad of 25 in the Champions League, but he'll only pick 16 or 17 of them. If we go through this transfer window and thicken the squad out to more players who he'll trust, so he can rotate, he's got there's some windows to come before he plays in the Champions League again. With a bigger squad, maybe he can rotate. Maybe we can get through it. But he'd never play a Champions League game and not have Toon Army.
I don't know what
and
was
Bruno
on tonight.
starting.
I don't know what's going on in the chat, but he's got a purple Tinky Winky at school tonight. And Roy is always right. Boaky sees Roy, like Boaky, sees the huge problem. That's the Boaky fan club coming up the RS.
There you go.
Spot on. We can all see the problems, can't we? It's just that Piff have got a bigger project that needs Howe in it, which they want to see through in the summer. And if he kicks off with 6 wins out of his first 8 games, that's it, we forget this. We're all bloody up and saying it's fantastic again because we've started well. Which you might well do next year. That's what I was saying. There's no point really us debating whether we're sacking him or whether we're keeping him.
The other worrying thing about Eddie, of course, is that he's got his record for starting the seasons is pretty poor. It's not abysmal, but it's not as good as what we usually finish with. But again, there's many reasons for that. Historically, not least the window had just gone. Which was a disaster. And then we had the 23-24 window where we bought Tonali and Barnes to supplement the Champions League winning squad that we had. Tonali gets banned for the season and Barnes breaks his foot and doesn't play for the best part of the season. They were the 2 players we bought along with Livermento and Hall, who were bought as project players and who've since gone on to repay that faith. But this is what I mean. Even then, we finished off the season well, and it was only Man United beating City in the cup final that stopped us getting Europa League that season.
Yeah, but I see other problems he's got. He's not using the youth, and I'll give you an example. A few games like the City second leg in the League Cup. It was 2-0 at home. There's no way we're going to go to City and get anything. Even Real Madrid.
So you throw the towel in?
You throw the towel? That's what.
Well, I would have been furious. I would have been absolutely furious if he'd thrown the towel in.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Villa did that last week. Went in the league, threw the towel. He's got a big league, Europa League semi-final. He rested half his team, got beat, no problemo. Went to Forest and beat them 4-0. He's in the final now.
Slightly different in that they had the league position, which gave them the cushion to be able to do that.
Yeah, but we're playing City away. Real Madrid won't lose at home 2-0 and then go expect something at City. You'll need a special team to do it, and we're not special. So you should have done that.
Happen on any given night.
All right, another game then. The Karabakh 6-1
game.
away.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
the home game.
At the time, I agreed with everybody then.
And it just doesn't do it, and you don't see the kids coming. He was only forced with Miley a few seasons ago, and beside of that, we haven't seen anyone. Where's the Korean kid, and where's the lads, the younger ones that he bought? He seems to have a problem with flair because we keep buying all these young flair players, but they get sold or they disappear and leave, and then they're never integrated in the team. I'm worried about the Korean guy, and there's another lad, I can't remember his name now. And we lose those.
Spanish lad.
Yeah, that's another one as well, yeah. So.
Yeah, but he's not.
So the Korean lad's in the under-21s doing fabulous stuff. He scored some great goals. He's played some great assists. I've seen it. I've seen it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So Yeah, last 2 games of the season, put him in the first team. Let's have a look
Let
at
him
him for
play.
15 minutes.
Yeah, instead of Gordon, who wants out.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
He's
and
left
next
winger.
week is our last game at home as well. So just do it. Ring the kids. Say, look, you're 18 or 19. Come on, give me all you've got here. It's your last game of the season. Next season, you're going to be in my plans, and show me what you got. Give him at least. You can start him or bring him on in the last 30 minutes, whatever. It doesn't matter. And where we are now, lose or win. If we 1-0 up, maybe don't take any risks because you know what's going to happen. We sub somebody, and then the players are going to get the blame by Craig Hope and Luke Edwards. So if you're 3-0 up, then that's the only time I'm relaxed now.
Even Roy 2-0 has the shape of heads to come, says Water.
Yeah, we never see like even yesterday.
He could have played on Saturday, couldn't he? Sunday, Shahar at right back.
Yeah,
I think he's an England captain, whatever age group he is.
England under 17 captain.
Yeah, did you say the list? Did you say the list of the last 10 England under 17 captains that I put up on a show the other a couple of weeks back?
No,
it ended up being nowhere.
There's not one of them made it anywhere near big time, and one of them managed to get 10 games for Palace or something, but the rest of them nowhere to be seen.
I've done a similar thing.
The point is he's showing a lot of promise at the minute, and we don't have a right back. I mean, even Miley's pushed his leg now. Lewis Hall isn't a right back. Could have been a left back, couldn't he? Yeah. If he played him, he could have played Lewis Hall on the left.
What's made me more angry is Forest played 2 days before, and they were missing 5 players. And you should have thought, just go for the kill here. Just go for the kill, and then we just didn't do it. It's too reserved.
I mean, if you could pick players for them not to play, if you could have picked the Forest's team for them, you'd have left Gibbs White out, left Murillo out.
Yeah.
Made Wood start on the bench. Yeah. I mean, that was. I mean, I didn't think it was an awful performance against Forest. I think on a different day we would have been clear.
We were good. We were good until we scored.
First half, I thought we were good in the first half.
Can I just address
Asula
this
could have
point
scored from Voldemara's ball.
Just address this point from David C. So at the start of the season, we were told no trophies, over 16 defeats, 2 still to play, 13th in the league, epic losing points from winning position, would win, sack Eddie. I've been saying since forever, if we don't get Europe, Eddie's got to go. There's nothing new
if
there.
If you win that at the beginning of the season, though, he wouldn't have believed you, would he?
Well, exactly. I wouldn't have believed you.
I'll tell you what, as bad as things are, I never thought we'd be this low in the league.
No, neither did I. And historically, we've had a history of performing much better in the second half of the season than in the first half of the season, and that hasn't happened either. The transfer window newcomers have proven to be less than expected, shall we say, to say the least. And why we didn't get anybody in the January window when we knew for a fact that in the summer we were going to be needing full-backs and a centre-back, why we didn't address that problem, because that's been the problem this season. Everybody's pointing the fingers at the attack, but it's the fact that we've taken the lead proves the attack's kind of okay. It's retaining that lead. It's the defence that keeps on letting us down, and by and large, it's through individual errors, which has got nothing to do with coaching, nothing to do with pattern of play. It's down to the individual players. But when it happens as often as it does happen, then it's the manager's job to find a solution to those individual errors. More cover, I don't know what, do whatever. But he's tried everything in that respect as well, in terms of, putting defenders on, and then it's because we're sat back that we got beaten. Or it's a no-win situation. But it's at the end of the day, it's down to him, and he's failed.
It's just, we always seem to sit back after we score. And we always play better.
I don't know
in the
that we
first half.
do. I mean, yesterday was a prime example. We could have had 2 or 3. They didn't look like threatening us at all. And we could have had
That's what I
2
said
or
at the
3.
start. I was amazed. Well, I was amazed when they scored. I thought we had that game won.
Bruno could have had 3.
Sula's free kick, a different day. Sula's free kick goes in.
Yeah.
He lifts the ball 2 inches higher and it goes over cells when Valdemar plays him through. He gets his toe on the end of that cross from Murphy in the first 10 minutes instead of it just missing him. He could have had a hat trick. Bruno could have had a hat trick.
Yeah, Bruno could have had a hat trick. But Pope saved loads of balls.
We should have been out of sight really. Although Pope did make 1 or 2 good saves, but that doesn't suit my narrative. So not thinking of them.
I mean, if we won yesterday, I would have thought we'll still have a chance for Europe. Exactly. We might have a small chance of finishing in Europe, but we'll need to get 6 points, and you'll need those 8th and below not to win anything.
Well, actually, afraid not, because where was it?
I think they play each other, and one of them is going to get.
Yeah, that's right. So there's 2 games where they play each other, and what I was back when we had the Magnificent 7 to go, I was thinking there's 2 games where they can't both get 3 points.
Yeah.
I was working on the assumption that we would have been getting 3 points, and those 2 games I was looking at, thinking they can't both get 3 points, so we can get above them. But now the situation is reversed, where they've both got to get something out of the game, and with the league the table the way it is now, well, I think it's what is it, Everton and
Everton Fulham, is it?
Quick shufty here.
I think it is. Let's see how it goes.
Let's have a look here. It's 17. It's Everton, Sunderland, both above us. Brentford, Crystal Palace, one goes above us, or
Brentford, Palace. Yeah.
Brentford,
hopefully Palace wins that.
And then on the final day,
Bournemouth have got City. Okay, that's right.
You've got
Chelsea.
Sunderland, Chelsea, Spurs, Everton.
I think Bournemouth are not going to win a game from here to end. Yeah.
What? The Magic Areola's not going to win a game.
He's got City, and then he's playing Forest away last game of the season.
Yeah, well, we say these are all the fixtures I was looking at with my rose-tinted glasses when I was saying it's very possible, because again I was looking very negatively at the fixtures that they had. Like Brentford have got Man City away, Liverpool away, and a London derby at home, and similarly with Brighton, they had a tough run in. Man United, I forget who else, but yeah, when I had my rose-tinted glasses on, as I always do, I was looking at all of those, and now I'm thinking, well, if you're Bournemouth now, and you're you're sitting in a Champions League position, you haven't got a bigger incentive than that to get something. They're 2 points above Brighton, just 3 points behind.
Oh, bugger! Yeah, Everton play the Mackhams. That's the worst one.
That's the worst one, yeah. And then we've got then, by the way, is the fact that Villa have got the Europa League final on their minds, so they know that even if they drop to 6th, as you rightly said before, Roy, they don't mind chucking points away. So that could be another 3 points. So the only thing that does do, if that happens and Bournemouth do go into 5th above Villa, and then Villa do win the European Cup, then it does add an extra place. But there's 4 points to make up in 2 games, so it's going to take a bit of doing.
Brighton play Leeds as well, and Man U. I don't even want to look. I just want Spurs to go down. That's all I'm looking up. That's all I want. Spurs down. Happy days.
Yeah, that would be brilliant, to tell you the truth.
But the thing is, if West Ham goes down, we should go for Gerald Bowen. Just go
Liverpool
for it. I know
are
it's
in for him
28,
now,
29.
apparently. Liverpool are in for him now.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. And he won't be expensive
he's
as well.
about 30 though, isn't he?
Quality.
29
Well,
or 30,
the point is, he's got his contract, I think, 2032 now. So...
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can keep it.
Didn't win, leave a game early. I did, and I'll never do it again. That was the Bournemouth game. I left it to get back for the reaction show. I left them usual 5 minutes.
Bournemouth, we lost that one, didn't we?
So I could... No, won on penalties.
Oh, that's the cup one, okay.
Extra time,
That's the only time we won against them.
Chris, what on earth have you seen to say Walter Marder should stay? Unfortunately, it doesn't work on us and isn't suited to the Prem. I agree with that, Tony. I think you may get used to the Prem.
It's not the Prem, it's us.
And Gavin Fuller, he won't do that. He isn't going to walk with. Right, man. Well, let's talk about Walter Marder for a minute, because I haven't spoken about Walter Marder with you.
It's our two wingers and it's our midfield. We had the same problem with Chris Wood. Big guy, give him the ball. He's not getting the ball. We had Maxi on the left and Miggy on the right, and our midfield is the same 4-3-3. And he was getting no service. He got one goal.
You cannot compare Chris Wood to Walter Marder.
I know, but you see, that's
I'm talking about as a physical specimen.
Yeah, I know. Well, even him.
That's
full
the
season.
Trouble. The trouble with Walter Marder for me is his physicality.
Yeah, but feed him with balls, he'll score. He was scoring for fun in the beginning of the season, and then suddenly, Wissa comes back, and then
he scored 5 goals from 6 shots. That's
there you go.
Unsustainable.
No, he's not been playing.
He doesn't get into the positions enough times. Wissa does.
Yeah. But I mean, Wissa I think suits us more, but he doesn't look fit.
I agree with that.
And we looked worse yesterday when he came on. We should have kept Usul on. I would have taken Joe Linton off and had anyone else on, Willock or even one Ramsey.
I think Bruno should have come off after an hour. He was knackered. Absolutely
Bruno looked knackered. Yeah.
And Ramsey would have filled in all right. The way Ramsey was playing, that was all right.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on Walter Marder, Iain?
What can you do?
Where do you stand on Walter Marder in terms of being a number 9?
I'm a big Nick fan. He is a number 9. He's a centre forward. He needs somebody close to him. He's got a fantastic touch. He sees a pass quicker than anyone else does. He scored flicks. Scored headers. He scored a lovely lob against Pickford. I mean, he's a genius, but we don't play to him. So he ends up trying to be a number 8 in midfield. I'm doing all right in that position actually, but that's not his game. I think if we sell Voltemada, we'll end up with an elite player in Europe in 2 or 3 years' time. We're scratching our heads wondering how he was so ineffective when he played at Newcastle and how we couldn't get a tune out of him. Because I think he's a generational talent.
A bit like John Dahl Thomason.
That's why he's in the gym. That's why
he's in the German squad.
Yeah.
You know who
That's
I
why
saw
he's
today?
picked first for Germany.
You know who I saw today? I was having a chat with, and he was
Come on, are you ready to hear the sound of this name dropping? Bush.
No. Somebody I was speaking to today, and he was useless with us. He ended up playing for Real Madrid and winning the Champions League. Hoslo,
yeah.
So he plays here, and I was in the award ceremony today, the end of the season awards. So I'm like, hey mate, la la la. He got nothing anyway, and I just said, Newcastle fan. He said, oh yeah, nice. I think he scored 6 goals for us in the season and a half or 2 seasons. But he goes to Real Madrid, boom. Well, he went somewhere else, and then he went to Real Madrid.
A bit player.
Scores
You
2
never
goals
look.
in the
I mean, we
final.
bought him. We got him for about 3 million off Stoke.
Something like
He
that,
was
yeah.
rubbish at Stoke. So I mean,
That's what he played
a
like.
late bloomer. Yeah.
He's actually rubbish now as well.
He wasn't great when he played for Real Madrid, let's be honest. He was just surrounded by
He just comes, yeah.
fabulous
They just
players.
feed him. They just feed him in the box. So they'll give him 10 chances. If he gets 2 or 3, happy days. And that's what he's doing. And I think Voltemado, with a team that gives him enough service, he'll flourish. But with us, we're playing this chancy football style now. There's nothing like it was. Remember, not last season, 2 seasons ago. And I'm just going to compare this Newcastle now to the one from 2 years ago. That team would thrash us now. Easy. Like the 6-1 against Spurs. We get the first goal. We keep going.
22-23.
Yep, we get the second, and we keep going.
Yeah, but you do know what the common
The problem,
missing denominator is, don't you?
Yeah, the problem is, he's got the same players playing them in the same system, and they're 3 years older.
Well, and we haven't got Isaac up top.
Problem, right?
And Isaac, okay. Well, he scored 2 out of the 6, but Murphy was 3 years younger. Everybody was 3 years younger.
We were 3 up after 10 minutes, and Isaac didn't score any of them.
Well, 5 up after 20.
Even the 4-1 last year against Everton, or the one before, I can't remember. There's loads of games that we thrashed teams, and he hasn't scored. But it's not him. It's just the football changed. It's predictable, boring, back passing and sideways, and Dan Burn on the left again.
Slow.
Yeah, very slow. It's too predictable. It's easy. If I was a manager of the other team, easy to stop this. Easy. Unless you get something like that magic pass from Ramsey yesterday. Cut through the middle, and there you go. Proper chance. The rest of our chances is just like chaos. You don't see much. You don't see any training on the training field action.
I disagree with that. I think you do. But the trouble
We used to.
No, I think you do now. Every game, you'll see there'll be a more than one section of beautiful passing and build-up, but it's just few and far between. You know, you can see it's there, but it's just not enough. And the problem is, if you can't win the ball in midfield, those chances are few and far between. So, and that for me has been our problem all season. Just second balls in the middle of the park, just weak.
We're much weaker now and much slower. Bruno's not as good as he used to be. He's still out.
We were
probably
good in the first half at that.
Yeah, our best player though.
What was that, Iain?
I thought we were good. I thought we were good at second balls in the first half yesterday, Sunday. I thought Joe Linton played really well for the first half an hour in winning balls. Making a tackle and pass at the same time when he's got no right to get to it.
That was the one instance when he proved he was Brazilian, as Tina was on about this afternoon.
Yeah,
on the earlier show. Great turn and run.
He does that once in 10 games, though.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
We love him, but he should only play against stronger teams when we need to make it tighter. But when we want to go and finish teams off and attack, just don't play him. And another one, I think, we need to sell Willock as well. He's not adding
Ramsey's
anything.
Come on and done really well.
Ramsey's
done
good.
really well against Brighton and against Forest. He deserves a start for West Ham. And West Ham are going to do a low block, aren't they? Try and hit us on a break.
Yeah, that's what
this
they're going to do.
This draw that Tottenham have had tonight has opened the door for West Ham to win at Newcastle.
Oh, did
Leeds
Tottenham
lose at Chelsea to jump?
Yeah, Leeds got a penalty and equalised. So 1-1.
Oh, excellent.
Just come on. I want. Look, I wouldn't mind getting beat against West Ham if Spurs go down.
So that's it. And Tottenham have got
Spurs have Chelsea
away.
Yeah.
Everton at home, who'll be jumping at the bit. And West Ham have got us.
I can see them not winning again.
And then they've got Leeds at home.
They play Leeds
for the last game of the season.
Yeah, Leeds are safe.
And Leeds are now safe, exactly.
Yeah, so he might try different players on, and you never know. So
it's going to be interesting.
Let's see who goes.
A little bit of excitement to take us to the end of the season.
Yeah, that's the most.
Niall's anticipating a Callum Wilson winner next week. Look,
he's expecting.
We're talking about Elliot Anderson scoring.
Oh yeah, well that never that just standard Newcastle. That old players just come back and score against us. It's Derrigue, Chris Woods.
Well, I think we'll beat West Ham. It'll be like the Brighton game.
We should beat them, yeah.
In the balance, but I think we'll beat them. We should stuff West Ham.
Oh, yeah. But Christopher Hoskins saying, Iain, it's not Germany.
Was Germany so have another striker?
Sorry, Walter Marder.
Marder is worse.
I'm not having that.
No, it's not worse than Kiel. Different players, different style.
There was one straight after that said,
Tony Carlisle says,
international football.
It's totally different to Premiership, and it is, because you get time, and you don't get time in the Prem. And like I say, it's his physicality that worries me. And unless he gets used to that and learns to overcome it, which I think he can do.
Playing in a team that can knock the ball around, win.
Yeah, he's got 5 behind him in Germany.
He would get the time.
Well, I don't know, because when he was playing up top,
Berbatov wasn't quick. Teddy Sheringham wasn't quick.
Even Shearer in his last 2-3 years, he wasn't quick.
But comparing anybody with Shearer is a bit like...
He's a brute, though, isn't he?
Yes, it's different, yeah. Shearer was a tank.
I don't know what wins. So if you get 100% in an exam, it's not sustainable. Would you rather he scored 1 of 6 chances, because that is sustainable? No. What I would rather he did is scored the 5 that he scored in 15 chances.
Or 20 chances.
Or 20 chances, whatever, yeah. That was Andy Cole. He would miss 1 and 3, but he'd be in a position to miss 20 times a match. So it and that's the thing. He doesn't get himself into the box enough for me. And the reason he doesn't is because he can't handle the physicality.
So that'll be why you like Wisser then.
Absolutely. Misser.
That'll be why you like Wisser win.
Because he's there to miss them. And sooner or later, he will start converting them.
Put them both in a blender and then get one. So you get Walter touch with Wisser's movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, Walter can improve. Wisser can't. Unless he gets fit somehow in the summer.
He needs to get fit and get some confidence.
Maybe a pre-season. Yeah, a good pre-season. Well, he's going to be in the World Cup, so yeah, we're coming ready.
We're coming up to time, folks. If you haven't already, smash the likes, man. Subscribe if you haven't. Share. Let everybody know we're out here. We've had super chats in from Mercury Dame. Thank you, Mercury. From Wazza, as always, the legend that he is. And from Boaky's fan club, Ads K.
Yes.
And now Roy's fan club. Roy always right. Boaky says
Roy and Sandro.
Problems. There you go. Roy and Sandro. Sandro the poodle.
There are huge problems.
We
do.
There's undoubtedly huge problems. It just...
If I could go back to something I used to say a few months ago, in Eddie we trust.
Yeah.
In Eddie we trust, we used to say, but I'm not sure we do now.
I think we might need, and one of the coaches told me, we need a proper number 6. And if we get a proper number 6, he'll protect those back 4 and all those dodgy mistakes that we do. And if we play with a 6, we can free the 2 8s. So Toon Army and Bruno can play as an 8 in front of the 6. and that'll give us more creativity going forward. So you just get this number 6, someone like Kante, who used to play for Chelsea.
Again, though, you're
someone
talking
like
about
that.
creme de la creme.
Yeah, Oti that we had.
Yeah, that's but Eddie's on record as saying he doesn't believe in the number 6. Well, I think you might have to learn to. Yeah. Certainly, if he wants to play Walty as a 10, he's got to find a number 6.
Yeah, because the problem is we haven't got a 10 and we haven't got a 6, and it's just like.
I think we have got a 10. I think Walty's the 10.
No, I think Ramsey's our 10. Willock,
I think
Miley.
I think Voldemar a 9. I think Ramsey, Willock, Miley, Bruno, they could all play a 10.
I think a 10 is much easier in this day and age than to be a 6.
Oh, I don't.
You need to be a 10. You need skill and vision, but to be a 6, you need the brain.
Well, to me, that's what Baltimore has got.
He's got that, but he hasn't got.
He hasn't got any physicality though.
A proper 10 is like Benafa, Palmer, Foden, something like that. That's what we need. Ramsey can do it, but it's not as good as those guys.
Anyway, folks, that's it for the night. We're out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. And Roy's pointing to his how out banner. How out. We were
right.
The fantasists have it.
We're no fantasists. Just look at the league table. Boaky, Jefferson, and the Doctor and we were right.
Look at the wages. And we will see you all tomorrow. Have fun. Away the lads.
Good night. Away the lads.
You are listening to NUFC Talk Radio, the voice of the Toon Army, live daily on the website, on YouTube, on BAB.